lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. We about to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready, let's go. Ain't no half stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunter's talk sprinkled with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the B, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk. Steppin', that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunter's talk sprinkled with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the B, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk.
All right, y'all. Ain't no half step on Marcus J is live. We are in the new den of Legacy Internet Radio. We're excited to have you here. We appreciate it. As you can see in the camera feed, I'm going to introduce her in a minute, but we got our very, very special guest, Apple Brown Betty, in the room with us. We got the usual suspects. We got some rest in heavens that we need to talk about today, which is sad, but we got also some real dope stuff to give you tonight. I'm excited. They're excited. We hope that y'all are excited. Flagship show, Legacy Internet Radio. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J is right now.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get. Yeah.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
Ain't no hashtag when Marcus J is live. Be down with us tonight at 804-402-2893. Be down with the flagship show. Heard live from New Den of Legacy Internet Radio. Thank you, everybody that's rocking with us tonight. We appreciate those folks that are checking us out on Facebook Live. We appreciate those folks that are checking us out on YouTube Live. We appreciate those folks that are checking out our archives. You might be watching this a week, a day, a year from now. But we appreciate any time that y'all are supporting us. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. You want to rock with us, we'll roll with y'all. So we're excited. I'll get the usual suspects introduced, and then I'll get our very special guest introduced because I can't wait to talk to her. You hear the brother join us here on his show, our show, this show, every single Monday night. I look across the room and I see my brother John sitting there. What it do, homie?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing outstanding, my friend. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Well, I'm glad you're looking well.
I'm surviving. I'm not too bad for a poor country lad.
Well, it's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see
It's
you.
good to be seen. It's good to be seen.
You had to turn my mic.
You heard him, right?
Country lad.
You
My
heard
sister,
him.
poor country lad.
He's a lot of things, but none of those.
None of the
None of
three.
those.
I'm absolutely all of those.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Rich people, their money work for them. Poor people work for money.
Yeah.
So I'm poor.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
And
know
I'm in
what?
Richmond. It's the country.
Yeah.
But you ain't no country.
You saw
lad,
that,
so-
right?
I'm
You saw
quite-
that,
You
right?
tried-
You see him.
I got
You
the
trying
lad.
to-
I got the lad look though. I'm laddish.
You know what?
Yeah,
we already starting on
I'm
some
something
mess
like a lad.
today.
You hear her voice with the banter going back and forth with our brother here.
Lad-ish.
The young lass, our sister
Lass-ish.
Steffi.
young in spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last-ish, our
Or
sister.
young and spirited. You know,
What
every
it do,
now and
Steph
then.
B? What's going on?
You know, always forward.
Yeah.
Good things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as one of my least favorite rappers says, big things popping, little things stopping.
All right.
But
I
still.
just told my age because I have no idea who said that.
T.I.
Oh, Clifford.
Come on.
Clifford.
Yeah.
Rubber band man.
Clifford.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know what I like? I like you can have whatever you like.
No, I love
No.
That's how I move.
Know what
That's
I
my,
love?
If
that's my
anybody's
joint
listening,
right
that's
there.
my theme song.
Yeah.
My favorite T.I. song. Better watch what you say to me.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know that. Y'all
Yeah.
need to check
Oh, I
that.
got one. We doing Ti? What you know
You
about
laddish,
that?
but you an
What know
OG
about
threatener.
that? Yeah. I like Clifford. Yeah. And that's my thing. I call rappers by their given names. So they probably don't want to be around me. Yeah. you
I
know.
do that too.
Yeah. I just think it's funny. I don't know why. I've been doing it
I'm
since.
like, what your mama call you?
Once I found out
I'm
his
grown
name was
enough now.
James Todd Smith, yeah, I was like,
James.
okay.
All right, Todd.
Yeah. So ain't no half step with Marcus J, which is live from New Den of Legacy and Radio, is excited because I ain't seen my sister in a minute.
Hey.
Yeah, she is Legacy Internet Radio alumna. She is your sister, and she is our sister, Apple Brown Betty of the Drunk Auntie Show. Y'all, what is
We
up,
need a
man?
clap track. We need an applause track.
Do we need?
For this, sis, yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the warm welcome.
Yeah, man.
It's a pleasure to be back in the house of the Lord.
Yeah. Oh, the Lord.
Ooh,
Okay.
yes, the Lord.
We on the same wavelength with that dude.
I mean,
Always.
you know, he in radio.
Yeah. I
They
can
say two or more, right?
Well, and we got double that.
Well,
and they say God is within you. So, you know,
hey,
claim it.
And they say he's good all the
time.
time.
I
Won't he
see.
do it?
I see.
He'll do it if you let him.
He already did it in this room.
Yeah, he did it. He did
And
it.
the libations is what's happening.
Well,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Well, you know,
Look,
yeah.
man.
That's a staple. Every week I
Gotta
fit that
hold
in.
it.
Yeah, I gotta fit that in every week. Yeah, shout out to James Evans Jr. So yeah, man. So what's up, Apple Brown, Betty, Drunk Auntie? I'm probably gonna call you all that tonight.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's cool.
What's up, man?
Everything. I've been busy.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird because I don't know where my time goes.
yeah.
Like I feel like the days, the weeks, they just kind of blend together. You pass me by, you look up, it's Monday, you look up again, it's Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know where the week went. I don't know where my day went.
Right.
But that's a good thing. That means that it's some momentous things happening.
It
So,
absolutely
yeah.
means. I tell you, your time might be going with mine because I don't know where it's at.
I don't know what's going on. I feel like I haven't done anything. I haven't gotten anything accomplished. My to-do list it doesn't get any shorter,
Yeah.
but I just be losing all this time. So maybe I'm like abducted by aliens and like existing in like a continuum.
So is it you that we're seeing, or are you a clone? Or is this you?
I'm feeling kind of hologramish. Like he's laddish, you're lassish, I'm hologramish.
Look,
I may or may not be here right now.
Hey,
Some of the dopest have been holograms.
Yeah,
So, hey,
yeah. Well, you look great.
Well, thank
it's so
you,
good.
Cal.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
Thank
It's good to see you. And it's been
she's got
probably
good
since-
energy.
Oh, she always has good. She can tell you first time we sat down, I said, "You're a star."
You did.
I said, "You're a star."
Wow.
First time we sat down,
Yeah.
and I'm watching you, and I'm just so happy for you
Thank
and so proud of you because
Thank you.
you seem to have this good spirit with it. And let's talk about it, because one of the things that you embarked on after Drunk Auntie kind of ran its course with Legacy and that radio, you went out and you hit the stage. What did you hit the stage doing?
Doing stand-up comedy. So it's one of those things that people have kind of encouraged me to do for a really long time. But stand-up comedy is a specific muscle.
Right.
And I didn't feel like I had trained that muscle.
Right.
And I wanted to be respectful of people who really who really live in that space, as a comedian who really hustle hard with it. I'm a person who's I'm blessed to be naturally gifted at different things, but sometimes that can give the appearance of being flippant and being flighty. You know what I mean? So I wanted to take it seriously. So another Legacy alumna, Mike J, shout out to Mike J and the Black Top Radio. He's a comedian. He was always pushing me to get on stage, and I never did. So one day I actually took him up on it, and I went and performed, and I had a great set. And after that, Mike J said, "Hey, everything I do from now on, I want you there." And he meant it because he started paying me.
You know what? That says everything.
It says everything.
There's a lot that comes with somebody paying you, and it's not just the fact that he wanted you there. It then forces you to step into your A game, right?
And yes, it does, because now I'm providing a service.
Absolutely.
And so it's different from being cookout funny.
Exactly.
Ain't no
I
how
love
Steppin
that.
with Marcus J live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We got a caller. Caller, what's your name and what you want to get in on?
Hey, man, first of all, let me give a shout out to the longest lasting internet show in the land, man.
Hey.
My homeboy, Marcus J, Legacy Internet Radio. What's happening?
What it do? What it do, homie?
It's your boy, Tim, man, on the other end. What's happening?
Antonio.
Hey, look, I was going through my little scroll, my feed, and I heard y'all got Apple Brown Betty in the building.
You see it? Yeah, you see it. There she is.
Yeah,
I'm the only one who still does that, so it's me.
Yeah.
It became
I
your
heard
signature
you in the
after it was
building.
popular.
To everybody, well, good evening to all you guys. Good evening to you.
Yeah.
Hope y'all having a great day, man.
It's good to hear your voice, man. How you been doing?
Hey, man, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. I can't complain. I'm having a good time at life. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah.
The Apple Brown Betty. Looking forward to you rocking out Sunday, man. I heard about you. I never met you, but I heard about you. I'm looking forward to gracing the stage with you on Sunday, man.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
It is a pleasure. For those who don't know, we're gonna get into it a little bit later, but we have a huge opportunity coming up this Sunday. It's the Bob Sumner. That was as black as I could be right now.
Really.
We have the Bob Sumner Back to the Basics Comedy Showcase, and the homie Antonio Tin Man Collins is on the bill with me.
All right.
So I just want to thank you for that love you just sent me, and the whole Richmond comedy scene has been so welcome and just embraced me so much, and I appreciate the love. We're gonna burn it down on Sunday, so make sure y'all follow us on social media so you can get your tickets. We got a couple tickets left. You do not want to miss it.
Yeah, and shout out to my man Marcus J, man. I'm telling y'all, man, like Marcus J, I ain't never tell you my inspirational, bro. Like you keep scribing, bro. You don't never give up. You know what I'm saying? You've been doing this so long. People radio stations and crashed and went across the country. You stayed live. You moved building to building, pick all your equipment with you, and you still rocking, bro. I salute you, man. You're an inspiration to me. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. The one thing that I could say about this brother who's on the live line with us right now is he is always consistently showing me love. And, being in this business, that's not something that you should be taking for granted. You should always receive that within a positive spirit, because you're not going to always get that. And one thing that I could say about this brother Tim, man, aside from him being one of the funniest cats I've ever been in the room with, aside from him being one of the most charismatic brothers I've ever been in the room with, and he's an actor, and he's a father, you know what I mean? He's also a motivator, because, I always tell this story. We share a barbershop. And, we'll run into each other every 5 or 6 haircuts, and this one particular day, he saw me and I was down. I was down. I don't know if he saw me down, but I was down that day. And he put some words in my ear that picked me up, man. And I think one of the most important things, and I always say this, one of the most important things that a black man can do is pick up his brother. And he picks me up. He calls in, he picks me up. So, brother, I love you, man, and I appreciate you.
I love you back, man. I see y'all soon. I come home. I see y'all soon. I promise you that, man.
You got it, brother. Be easy, man. Take care of your family,
sir,
man.
too.
Be cool.
Already.
You got it. And you know how Steppin Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy and their radio. Outstanding brother. Outstanding brother. But he touched on something that we are going to touch on. So since that cat is somewhat out of the bag, let's go ahead and pull it all the way out. So let's talk about what's going on. The main reason that we got you here, other than you just missed me,
right.
You know, because that's the main reason. But the other main reason that we got you here is to talk about the event. So let's get it.
Okay, so this Sunday is 6335. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show starts at 8. Bob Sumner, if you don't know, is a gentleman who's largely responsible for creating Def Comedy Jam. We all know Def Comedy Jam is Black people of a certain age, and he is on, I believe, a nationwide search for new talent. He's making a pit stop in Richmond, and I just can't help but feel like it was just divinely ordered. I'm a person. I try to be 100% spirit led, and I don't want to get. Well, I do want to get into it because I'm talking about it, and I think it's important to for people to know that, especially because I'm a person who's new on the comedy scene. I'm not new to media. I'm not new to entertainment, but I am new to stand-up comedy. And being new to the scene and having such a big opportunity so fast, I need people to understand that it was not me. It was my God. That's why I'm here. That's why the stars and the planets aligned. That's why the universe, aligned everything for me. That's why the ancestors guided me to this place. And that's why this is happening for me. But I'm super excited about this Sunday. I'm going to do some jokes that I've been working on. I got some aces in the hole that I haven't done anywhere, when I want to, spring some stuff on people because I want everybody to have a good time. So
let me ask you, how does a up and coming comedian prepare? Are you doing the jokes in front of the kids? Are you testing it out on a home audience? What's the process for someone?
I wish I knew. I don't know what other people do. I know what I do, what works for me. Like my OCD lends itself to the process. I'm a person. I don't know how many other people do this. A large part of being on stage, it is kind of on the fly. You have your jokes prepared, but you kind of, bird walk with them a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Me, not so much. Like my anus be so tight preparing for these shows. I literally do write all my jokes out.
I just love the way you said that.
It's the truth. Like it's only like a half mass right now. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm preparing, I really do write all my jokes out, but that's because the writing is the repetition that helps me to remember. So that's how I prepare. I don't really test them out on like family and friends too much. It's kind of weird. It's like when you say, I'm a comedian, tell me a joke. It's like, no. That's not how that works. So and then my kids, they don't want to hear me tell penis jokes.
No.
So
there's penis.
It's lots and lots. Hey, penises are funny.
How you gonna have
are hilarious.
Penises are hilarious.
Ain't no have Steppin Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy in the radio. Let me get some of these comments.
How many have you seen?
Let me get.
Yeah, exactly. They're funny. Take it from us.
let me get these comments in.
What Rakim say? I ain't no joke.
Listen, you don't know your brotherhood.
Let me get some comments in.
I'm sure.
Our sister, the career cheerleader, Cara Presley, is checking in. She says, "Apple Brown, badass." Hey sis. Hey y'all. She says, y'all gonna make me come out and sit in the background. She said, John, what you know sipping?
Where we at?
She said, John, what you sipping?
You already know.
And then she pumped her fist and said, peace to me, because that's how we communicate.
Well, I'm sipping water, but the ladies got
and then
something nice.
She asked, I'm gonna read that good comment. I'm gonna read that last. Tim Man, he was in this feed before he called us and giving us love there. Let's see. And then she asked a question that I had, stuff. Where's the bow?
Where is the bow?
It's a long short story. Long short story.
We got time.
We got to find you.
I didn't make it that
know,
strong.
Right? Basically, I was walking out of the house, and when you say I gotta grab something, I grabbed something, but when I looked in my hand when I was in the car, it wasn't the right. It didn't coordinate, and my bow always does match, so I couldn't do it.
So the
That's
beige
my
bow
OCD.
the beige bow didn't
Yeah,
make
I
it.
didn't. I had meant to grab a tan bow that had brown butterflies. I grabbed a red bow that had blue butterflies. Don't ask me how. So I'm bowless.
We got one more comment
Thank
in.
you, Cara, for checking me on that because I do need my bow.
One more comment. My cousin Nancy is checking us out. She says, "What's going on, cuz?
Hey, cuz.
Peace
Hey,
to you.
cuz.
Thank you. I gotta tell you one thing, Aish, before you continue, I want to come back to you. I told you I'm gonna call you like all your names today.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
My family comes through for me every single week on the show.
Yeah, they do.
And so I want to make sure before I even go any further to say peace and love and thank you, man. Thank you for supporting me as little cuz, as big cuz, depending on who it is that's checking in. But I want to say peace to my family because y'all always check in and y'all always make sure that I know that you're there. And that means a lot to me. That means a whole lot to me. And it means a lot to my radio family, my
Absolutely.
crew, the usual suspects. So peace to y'all. Shout out to our family. So let's talk again. You were kind of we stopped on the penis jokes. But we can tell penis jokes
That
because
shit
some
ain't funny,
penises
man.
are jokes.
They're hilarious.
You know. So, but I did like the question that that Steph asked about preparation. Whatever it is that you feel comfortable sharing, share with us how you're going to prepare yourself to go and stand in front of a bunch of people and tell jokes
Bob
because
Sumner.
everybody can't do that. And I just love the fact that you can. I'm impressed by the fact that you can. And you're very casually and situationally funny. And I've seen your sets, and you're funny in that realm as well. But when I told you you're a star, it's because you made me laugh. And you wasn't trying, you was just being yourself. And that is a gift.
Thank you for that.
And so I want to know, how do you sharpen those gifts when you go in Sunday? Whatever it is you can share. I mean, I don't know if you want to tell your whole story.
I'm typically wide open. I don't have a lot of filters where that stuff is concerned. But first of all, it is a gift. And that's number one, is I try to be humble and appreciate the gift that I have. I try to be responsible with my gifts, because it's like what I told my children. As attractive children in school, y'all cute, you got nice clothes, you got nice shoes. It's your responsibility to speak up and protect people who don't necessarily communicate as well as you do, who don't
have the aesthetic.
Who don't exactly. So I take that very seriously. I try to leave people. I want to make you laugh, but I want to make you think. And more than anything, I want to let you know that it's okay, because a lot of my comedy is the stuff that hit my foot. You don't want that top back. A lot of my comedy, it comes from a place of just transparency. So the things that we typically hide from, the things we shy away from, I want to bust it wide open and let people know it's okay. You're not the only one who doesn't want to donate money to the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation when you're checking out at Kroger. You know what I mean? I don't. I ain't got nothing for you.
My no is proud.
My no is super proud. It stands tall. Right?
No.
So I do take that seriously, but I think that another thing that's important. Oh, we got a call coming in.
They don't have Steppin, Marcus J live from New Den, Legacy and that radio caller. You are on the live line with Marcus J, John, Steph B, and our very special guest, Apple Brown Betty. What your name is, or what's your comment?
This is Cara.
Hey,
the career cheerleader.
Hey, sis.
What's happening?
I feel instantly successful just because of that call. Look at that.
And I called to tell y'all, I wanted to, as Marcus would say, give Apple Brown Betty her flowers while she's here. She is a constant inspiration to me. And, when you're in alignment with your tribe, like she was saying, she's just funny. She really doesn't need to prepare. That's what she really wanted to say. I don't need to prepare, sis. I'm already funny. And the vibe automatically attracts whenever I'm in her spirit. So thank you for being a part of my tribe. And thank you for the sisters like you and Steph and Marcus. we know our lane and we just stay in that and we support each other along the way. I love y'all.
Yeah.
Love you
Too,
more.
sis.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah.
Love you too, sis.
Yeah, we love you, man. This village that we all share it's important, but it makes you feel good because it's something about making it to this point of your life. You know, all of us are in our mid 40s and 50s. Yeah.
John, proudly.
And I'm one of those people who is
I'm
very,
gonna go
very
back to the street and go back and watch.
what's that? I'm
gonna
one
go
of those
back and
people
watch.
that's very, very transparent about that. And if I love you, you're gonna know it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make sure you know it
I would agree with that.
because it's important. Because I like it when people tell me that I'm cool. I like it when people say nice things to me and about me.
And about.
And it
yes.
makes me feel good. So why wouldn't I want to pay that forward? Especially when the person is legitimately dope.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
And I do like what Apple Brown said about being gifted. You know, I think that one of the things that fails us often is not a confident acknowledgement of our gifts. Like somebody will say, you are so capable, you're so gifted, you do this well. And we will go into this
Self-deprecating
humility, you know, this role of humility, which is not really humility. It's exactly
you know what?
you
Fuck
said.
that, and let me tell you why. And it's something that I'm still learning and still actively. You have to actively practice that. And it's something as simple as when someone gives me a compliment, I would automatically say something to negate the compliment
Instead of saying
just thank you.
Yeah.
Or feeling obligated to pay them a compliment in return.
Absolutely.
It's okay, you know. And the reason is, I'll tell you like this. You know, I also been a promoter. I haven't done events in a while because people in Richmond don't buy tickets to stuff. But when I was a promoter, right? When I was a promoter, I found that the case was, you know, I even had someone whose job it was to help businesses thrive. Tell me, stop leading by offering to pay people. You know, you can barter. You'd be surprised what people can do for you without you paying, which is true. But it felt real bummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to honor people's time and talent.
Right. And you want to be paid for yours.
Right. So that's the thing. So when I expect to be compensated for my time and my talent, it's not because I'm so dope. It's because it's natural for me to compensate people.
Yes.
So why shouldn't I accept compliments?
Absolutely.
Because
I love that.
You do yourself a disservice. You dishonor the gifts that God gave you when you're constantly downplaying, constantly, you know, because you don't.
And why would I add to something that you don't value?
Right.
Right.
And you don't have to detract from yourself to be humble.
You
That's
don't.
not what humility
And you don't
is.
have to sound like, you don't have to sound cocky.
No.
Either. You know, there's a nice middle ground to it. And when you say that, I really love hearing that. I love to hear a confident woman say, this is my gift. And you know, it going into a space like comedy has got to be crazy scary. You know, I think about the other thing you said about transparency. There's a reason there are people who don't even want to go to a comedy show because they don't want to be pointed out.
Right.
Imagine putting yourself on the stage and having to open up. I think the funniest comedians are the ones who are opening up, not just about what they see and observe, but about their own lives.
Because it's therapeutic. And I hate to be cliche, but the older I get more and more cliche, because cliches for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
But it really is a cathartic process. It really is something about it goes back to childhood, like we talked about my gifts and what have you. I found out that being funny kept people at bay. It kept me safe at a young age. You know, nobody's picking on me if I'm making them laugh. You know, that kind of thing. It got me grace with my teachers.
Sure.
As I got older, it got me grace with police officers and judges. You know, on the job. You know, I always get the job because I'm pleasant to be around. Yes, can you type these keys and punch these numbers? But also, are you pleasant
personality?
To be
Yeah.
around? And my personality was my protection. And because Mike J started paying me, that's what made me want to take it seriously. I'm like, hey, you know, this can be a stream of income.
More than a hobby.
It can be more than a hobby. And I think because we, especially as Black women, we are stifled so early and so strongly that entertainment.
It is a it's a process. People stifle us as a part of a process.
As a part of a process.
Mhm.
And it's necessary because as the mules of the world,
exactly.
you got to keep a
I don't
mule
need
in
you
line.
aspiring to more.
Right.
I need you pulling this cart.
I need you pulling this cart like
That's
an
exactly
ox.
right.
So I think that's something that we have to overcome. So I'm still embracing that. I'm still getting used to having a spotlight on me.
Yeah.
I'm still getting comfortable under that magnifying glass. I do know my boundaries. I'm a hypersensitive person. I'm not a person who ever needs to read any comments on any internet thing about me. That's just
Know
not
your
me. Because I'm gonna want to fight, and y'all not gonna want to fight. You know what I'm saying? If we could thump, it'll be all good. But you ain't even about that. You know, so
you need muscle now. We got to get you security.
I really appreciate that, and
Thank
that
you.
goes back to like my brother Marcus J. So I don't own a gun.
You got to know your boundaries.
I will shoot somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm not. If I have it, I'm going to use it. So it's better if I don't have it.
Know your boundaries. I do. I also, and I just want to say that I love that you also see the value in somebody paying you. You know, a lot of times when we're in an exchange for service, doesn't mean we always put up what we, took from the situation. So I really respect one that Mike knew he needed to pay. Mike J. Knew he needed to pay you, and two, that you recognize where that elevates you.
Right.
And I say that to people all the time, even from I'm an entrepreneur coach. I work with a lot of people as a consultant. When you treat things like a hobby, most hobbies don't make money.
They don't.
Why would it? It's a hobby.
Right.
But when you see something that is your natural talent, if you can monetize it. But then remember, once you start taking money for it, it is work. It is effort, and you need to be 100% all of the time.
And that goes back to that preparation question. To answer your question, what I did was take Wednesday through Saturday off work. That's what I did. I'm blessed to have a job with some PTO.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend that time being fully immersed. I have my set pretty much together, but I need it to be like clockwork so that I can have fun. If I'm having fun, the audience is having fun.
No, I can dig it. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Cara is still listening, and she said she wanted to come back and listen, but she had some technical difficulties and some stuff. So she put a couple of comments in here. One, we move with intention, period. And I know the intention with y'all is always to uplift and never to put down. She's talking about our family here.
Absolutely.
And then she continues, other people sell tickets. I sell experiences. Pay from your heart. They know it's a return on investment. So
Amen.
I can definitely dig that. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Den, Legacy in that radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. You want to rock with us, we'll roll with y'all. We're talking to our sister, the drunk auntie, Apple Brown Betty, Legacy Internet Radio alumna. It is so dope to look across the table and to see you, in the building and rocking with us. And of course, we're rolling with you. Let's talk about, you kind of talked a little bit. Okay, John, you had a question?
Just one quick thing.
Oh, okay.
When you were
John.
speaking about the event that's coming up, you gave the number to the building, but you did not give
full
the street.
address.
Oh, see,
it's the name of the club.
Yeah,
right. The name of the club is 6335.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's at 6335 Jank
Jank
Road.
Road, yeah.
Jank Road.
There you
Got
go.
it.
So
Okay.
come on over to the south side.
And
of things.
guess what? The bridge
That's
works two
Jank
ways.
Road, Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
That is a very Richmond thing.
It is.
We act like the
bridge
North-
works two ways. When I
Yeah.
came here from New York, I was like telling somebody that there was a zoo in Chesterfield County.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And at that time, I worked in an office on the West End.
mhm.
And they were like, there's a zoo out there? And
Yeah.
I was like, you people don't.
West
they act
End
like
people
there's a
don't come
literal
out.
troll that's going to reach up and take your car.
West End people don't
They
come
don't
south.
come
But
across.
but there's some of
West
that
don't
too.
go
the
east,
other
north
way.
don't go south, south
Yeah,
don't go
because
north.
I
It's
had
like-
people, I was a headhunter at the time. I couldn't get people to take a job, even with a pay raise,
Mhm.
if they had to cross the river.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. Aisha, I want to get your opinion. Like I said, I'm going to go through all your names tonight. Are you somebody that has that stigma that stigma? Because I don't. Like, I know that it's
No.
a whole thing.
It is
Like,
a
I know what
thing.
Steph is saying is real. I'm not disputing you. At
No,
all.
of course not. Of course not.
It is real. There are people that stay in their lane in the sense of
Literally.
their part of town. Are you one of them people? Or are you crossing
I
the
am
bridge?
not, because I'm from Richmond. I lived here all my life, and I've lived on every side of town. I can't leave my house without passing somewhere I used to live or work. Okay. So the thing is, like, when I used to live on South Side and I moved to North Side, I threw my daughter a birthday party and no one would come because it was over North Side, but all her friends were from school North South. It really is a thing, but I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. It's nothing. Richmond's not even that big.
Hey, that's the other thing. Like
But
Richmond is
30
a
minutes,
small
you could
square.
cover it all.
The thing is, so if you're not
Metro
familiar,
Richmond, yeah.
Metro Richmond, if you're not familiar, we have the river that runs through the city, and on one side of the river you have North Side, West End, and East End, and on the other side you have just the South Side. So the South Side really does feel like another
Isolated.
city. And if you're on the South Side, when I lived over there, I understood why people don't leave, because you have everything.
Yeah.
You just don't need to go across the river.
And until recently, my understanding, not having been here as long as maybe the two of you, West End didn't have everything until recently.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What I realized,
it's not really Richmond when you get out the short pump. It's
that's not the West
It's
End.
Henrico.
Henrico.
Yeah.
What I
People say
realized,
West End, but-
past Scott's Addition, once you get, I forgot, it's the last bus stop on the post.
Willow Lawn.
Willow Lawn is the end of
Willow
That's
Lawn.
it.
Yeah.
You ain't in Richmond no more.
Once you hit Willow Lawn. Cara says
And you know that
West-
if you catch charges.
Yeah.
Cara says
Or call the
West-
police.
West stays in West, North goes where it's required. And then
Okay,
also, and she said East End, Richmond, and South Side people go everywhere. Remember a little while ago when I gave a big old shout out to my family?
yes.
Cousin Tony's checking in.
Hey,
cousin Tony's saying, "What's good, fam?"
What's up,
Hey.
fam?
Yeah, ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and that radio. That's funny to me.
Yeah, the whole you know what, I offended someone when I said I lived on the South Side, working in corporate America in the West End. She was like, it was so funny because when I moved here, every accent sounded like they should hold a mint julep in it.
What accent? We don't have
And it would
accents.
be like, she was literally like,
You can hear Richmond.
where do you live, honey? And I was like, I live on the South Side. And she said, are you sure? Where exactly do you live? And I said, Brandon. She goes, oh, honey, that's not the South Side. Don't tell, you're not a South Side girl. And
Yeah.
I had no clue
That's
what that meant.
Chesterfield.
And then I started realizing that, but to me,
That
it's
ain't no
all south of the
South Side.
James.
Hey, look, that ain't no South Side.
You cross the James, you're in the south of the
I'm-
James.
I'm
Yeah,
with
but you
her.
crossed all the way out of Richmond.
Yeah, man. You damn near in the middle.
But
Chesterfield.
but also after living here a while and then moving,
On
now
your-
I
on your way to
downsized
Petersburg.
and became an empty nester, and I moved into the city of Richmond. I'm a little offended that she felt like I ain't carrying the flag.
She was
Like,
right. She was
No,
right.
she
though.
was concerned.
She
She
was
was
right, though.
concerned about you.
You was repping Brandonville.
I was repping
She
the
was
burbs.
Yeah, you
concerned
repping
about you.
Hey,
so
look.
it's
She was like,
it's
oh no. And she was like, you don't remind me. And
That's-
I couldn't understand
You know what that
she
is?
meant, but I kind of still feel offended
You
because
know
I'm
what
like,
that is?
black is black.
You know what that is? That's Long Island people talking about.
That
They from
is
Brooklyn.
talking about Brooklyn. Yeah, I guess that's true.
But what it is
That is
you
I know.
didn't come to work with your head tied up in a ponytail that's just as much.
You know what? We're not gonna do that to the sisterhood today, bro. You already know.
Get him, girl.
That's what
Get
she was
him.
like, you're not
Get
from the
him.
South Side.
Get
I
him.
guess my last.
You saw he did that? Yeah,
I don't
right.
know.
Yeah.
Or your
You didn't
nails.
have the snuffleupagus going. So.
See?
no,
At
just,
the end of the day, I feel like it's south of the river. Once you cross over, it's all the same to me.
You know when I came
But
to Richmond,
Manchester can't count.
Manchester's not a
The
real
way
thing.
it's coming up now.
but you know what though?
I
For
still
me,
call it Blackwell.
It's Blackwell.
It's Blackwell.
Yeah.
Now for me,
People
it was
try to make it gentrified because all of a sudden us, people they consider upper middle class moved over there. And they're like, no,
Yeah, they building all
you're
them
in
buildings.
Manchester. I'm
Manchester.
like, nah, I live in Blackwell. I will say that
I had the
because
perfect.
it's literally one side of the street and the other side. One side is people like me who downsize, who are, professionals that they moved into these revamped lofts.
And the other side,
Gentrified.
got a 3 for
Gentrified.
10.
Well, and these other side have been there forever. I like to look at it as this is their shit and I'm here.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I moved there, for me, it was how can I be integral to their growth? How can I be a voice in spaces that I'm not normally in? I don't have children to go fight for in Chesterfield. Where are there children that need somebody to come to school board meetings? Where are there schools that need a volunteer that can be there when a parent can't? That's really what I was looking for. It wasn't so much like, am I going to be in the South Side? When you grow up in Brooklyn,
When I came
people
here,
are people wherever they are. Black people are black people, and they're going to do what they do wherever they are.
when I came to Richmond, all I knew was the area surrounding Union, which looked very much like where I grew up in Jersey City.
See?
And then I moved to South Side. Like I moved not just the South Side, but I moved like Belt Boulevard South Side.
Okay.
Which was very much like where I grew up in Jersey City.
And it
then-
was the 90s, right?
And this is the 90s.
I heard it was lit down here, literally.
I came here.
That's another
Gunshot
world.
lit.
August 11th, 1992. That is the day I moved to Richmond.
It's my auntie's birthday.
August 11th. Yeah. August
I was,
11th.
One thing
I was
about-
in Atlanta
One thing about Apple
August
Brown,
11th.
turning up.
if you get the privilege of finding her personal and her allowing you into her personal Facebook space, this is a sister that is connected to her ancestors, like
Yes.
the auntie, the grandma, everybody makes an appearance. The mom, it's like dope to me that
Thank you.
I read those posts. I like those posts every single time
Yeah.
because she is so into her community.
Yeah.
I love when she tells stories about Petersburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I do. We're talking about how Richmond is
Petersburg got
broken
so much
down,
history.
but I love how she, I love when she goes live showing that she's working on a house.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. It's
I
like
love
this
it.
sister is definitely connected to who she is and where she comes from.
That's the piece about you that I also love. I like how you are comfortable being who you are.
Absolutely.
And for people like me, I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way, but for people like me, you remind me of people that I already know and love. Like you got this energy. Like when I came here to Virginia from Richmond, to Richmond from Jersey City, it was very hard for me to find my tribe. I came here at 18, and I didn't find my tribe until I was in my late 30s. People who move like I move, who maybe it's just getting older. I don't know what it is. But when I see how you move in social media and just talking to you, it's a comfort level that I have because you talk like I talk.
And she has nothing to hide.
You just keep it funky. Let me get another comment in. Social media is checking in. Let's see. Okay, another piece of the family. My cousin Candace, also from Jersey City.
All right,
living
Jersey
down
City
in
the house.
Greenville, North Carolina.
Hey, cuz.
She is checking in and saying peace. And I think that's all the comments. So yeah, I enjoy that about you.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that. And in an effort to be, full disclosure, like that comfort level, it's amazing to hear y'all remark on that because I'm ever uncomfortable. And I just want to be real about that. Like I don't when people, it's always interesting to hear how other people perceive you. And all my life, people have perceived me as a person who kind of has it all together. You always know what to say. You always know what to do. I don't be knowing what the fuck going on. Okay, let's be very clear. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm a person. I'm kind of all over the place. My brain is scrambled. It takes effort for me to be, focused and centered, and people see me as this super confident person. And the reason I'm sharing that with everybody is because I want you to understand the importance of faking it till you make it. You know what I mean? And like we talk about y'all
doing it,
just
literally.
doing it, And it's like one Esther Roll, who played Florida Evans. You quoted Jimmy
JJ.
earlier. But Florida Evans, Esther Roll, because it was her real person, not the character. She had a quote. She was on some panel and someone asked her about being this strong Black woman. And she said, who told you I was strong? Sometimes you're not strong. Sometimes you bleeding and you beat up and you wounded and you're just making it by the skin of your teeth. And I want people to know that, like the confidence that you see on stage, please understand, I be ready to shit on myself.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way that you see me, just know that I'm grateful that that's what I can present to people. But I'm all about the underbelly. I'm all about the layers underneath. I need people to get into that and know that I'm not any smarter than you. I'm not any more talented than you. I'm not any more confident than you.
You're just taking the risk.
I'm just doing it. You do it broke. You do it tired. You do it confused. You do it scared. You just do it.
Say that one more. Wait, can we get that one more time?
Do it broke. You do it tired. And
come
you do
on
it
now.
scared.
Do it. Just do it.
Here's where I will respond to that. I love that you said that.
Thank you.
Not only do I love that you said that, I love how you said that.
Yeah.
Because it's the reason why we're giving you these flowers, right? It's that vulnerability that you just displayed that we all feel. What you just said, we all feel.
And
One
a
of
lot
the
of
things
people
that
won't admit to it.
most folks won't admit to it. I said to y'all before we even went live, September of 2011 is when I started doing radio. Sealed the deal in August, went live the first Tuesday in September of 2011. So I've been doing radio every Monday or Tuesday for almost 10 years. Every time I get nervous, every time. I was nervous today. I was nervous last show. I'm going to be nervous next show. It's the transparency that you just gave us that make people like me feel validated. I feel validated in knowing that however I come to this, it's okay as long as I come to this. What's not okay is running. You can't run. If it's in you, you got to do that shit. Yeah. Whatever do that shit looks like. And it's okay to fail. I'm a baseball fan. If you fail 70% of the time,
300, baby.
You going on a Hall of freaking Fame. 70% of the time. Yeah. That's maybe not the best life analogy, but the point is you're not going to get it right every single time. You just got to try.
That's why we need each other. You know, it's like being a parent. I get a lot of praise for, you know, the outcomes I've had with my children. I got great kids. Don't get me wrong. And I take all the credit. It's me. I did
damn right.
But the thing about it is, the sooner you realize that you know, I'm a big advocate of being my kid's friend. Yes, I am. I realize that's counterculture for Black people, but I'm my kid's friend. And the best thing I could have done for them from an early age was say, I don't know. You know, yes. I'm pretty smart, but there came a day when I can't help you with your math homework.
Parenting.
Right.
Yeah.
Math is not my strong suit. It came a day when I don't know what's going on. And I'm going to tell you, you know what? I don't know what's going on.
I don't have all the answers.
This is bullshit. I'm sorry you have to go through this, but we're going to find the answers together. And then they know I'm on their team. Yeah. So that's the same approach I want with other people. I had a brother that I build with, and I don't want to call his name. These are real people, but real dude. You know, we were Facebook friends, and we met organically working on the same project, this historical project. And we, you know, my Facebook persona, I'm real live. It's lots of dick jokes, like I said, you know, and the more we got to talking on some serious issues, he's wondering, like, why don't you put that forward? Why don't you, you know, you could really help a lot. Why don't you put more of that part of your personality forward? And I had to explain to him that the women, no, you fine, sweetheart. I don't have no feeling in my feet. The women who are already woke and already spiritual, and you're already up here, and you don't need me.
You don't need me.
You know what I'm saying?
And men, for the most part, are
and
not the ones who are listening.
They don't need me. So I'm trying to reach the sisters who are underrepresented. You know, the sisters who are dismissed.
Yes.
And the question I asked him was, do you take medicine from people you don't trust? Like, to quote Jada Essence Hall, one of my favorite shows, RuPaul's Drag Race. I am a bitch of the bitches for the bitches.
Yes.
Do not try to separate me from the bitches. Do not try to separate me from the ratchets, from the
What do I say every time? I'm here for the thoughts, the ratchets, the strippers, the corporate girls.
Everybody.
Yes.
Because we have the same experiences. And if we were more open about our experiences, we could elevate together. And that's what I'm about.
I love it. I love it. You're a dope sister.
I'm
all the way around.
I'm only here for those who can be here for themselves. I'm trying to save the drowning people, pulling me under the current. If you ain't got enough sense to know how to save your own self, or at least know you need saving, I ain't.
And that's fine.
You.
But the unfortunate part about being a part of a sisterhood that has been on the bottom of the totem pole for so long is that options and opportunities have been limited. So until we have gotten to a point of where the same level of options and opportunities have been presented to us that have been presented to my white female counterparts, I'm here for you all.
I'm gonna put it like this.
I respect it. You got to know where you are and where I'm at. I've been there for so long, and I have given up so much and taking steps backwards so far, trying to pull people out. And it took me a long time to realize that these people just really don't want to.
Yeah,
be,
that's different though. That's a little bit
Did you
about
not-
I
boundaries.
need you to want it.
Did you not? Did you not hear me say fuck the diabetes? What I'm saying is, this is a true story. So I've always had good jobs, right? So me as a
Thank
woman,
you for using air quotes. For
the
that.
air quotes, yes, because it was a bitch like me hungry.
Mentally, you
with the
dying,
good job,
but it's
yes.
a good job.
Yeah,
I
people
know.
couldn't understand. I walked away from a job that paid me like $30 an hour last year, and people couldn't understand that decision. But it was also between walking away and slapping the shit out of somebody, like for real. It was that serious.
Slapping's always good though.
No, not when you already got 5 assaults. Okay.
Okay.
Story time with
So
Apple Brown
you
Betty.
just be smacking people.
Look.
Oh,
I don't be smacking people, but they be getting smacked.
let me slip in a comment, and before you finish, let me slip in a comment. The inspiration of Legacy Internet Radio, my brother Jay Grizzy Green is checking us out. He said, "Talk your shit, bruh."
Yeah,
he's talking to me, but then he's talking to you. He says, "Did she just say she don't have no feeling in her feet?" I need the backstory if that's not medical.
He said, "I need the backstory if it's not medical."
I think that comes from putting it in people's ass.
You know what? That's a good story to adopt.
Yeah.
That was a good job,
Yeah.
Don.
You did good.
Just take that.
He just went right on with the whole flow of the show, right?
I'm a ride with yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly why they
That's
numb
why.
now. They numb now. You gonna feel it, but I won't.
It has a very numbing sensation, especially when it's there with intent. You know.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of an anecdote. So, true story. So I'm at work one day. This is probably 2009, whatever. I'm in the throes of single motherhood. I'm working this good job. No, this is like 2005. I worked for child support then. And so my job is, yes. Look.
That is a good job. If you know a sister in child support, you doing the Lord's work.
Listen, it's a job and it might pay well with benefits, but ain't nothing good about it.
As I'm telling you, there's
not,
sisters out there that would.
It was not good. Nobody was ever happy with me. So the thing is, I'm working at child support, not getting into child support, mind you. So I'm pregnant with my youngest child, who's 17 now. To give you an idea how long ago this was. Yeah. And calls are coming in, people complaining, but I don't get no child support for my own kids. You know what I mean? I chose wrong too. You know what I'm saying? So I understand.
I love this lady.
But the thing is, so I got to sit at work all day and hear these stories, and then go home to my reality. This is the time I'm pregnant with my last baby. I married a man who was a jailbird. He was in and out of prison all the time. So I would have to fix their plates and then eat what they left behind as a pregnant woman. Okay, because I made too much money for food stamps, but not enough money for actual fucking food.
Wow.
So I was kind of stuck in the middle with food, right? So white humor.
And I'm sad I laughed so hard.
Right. So one day I get to work, it's payday, I'm hungry, I'm pregnant. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna treat myself. It's a Subway across the street. I'm gonna splurge just $3-4 on this sandwich. And I go over there and my car gets declined. Long story. The money was not there, right? So I'm surrounded by all these other women who work at child support. All of them got good jobs like me, and most of them are twice my age. They don't have the same financial struggles that I have.
Right.
But was I going to go to one of them and ask them for $5? No,
that's a problem.
You know who I knew would give me $5 and not judge me and not talk about me.
I know who you went to.
The motherfucking housekeeping. So that's why I'm here for the ratchets.
Yep.
That's why, even though I think and to John's point, which no, not to disparage what you said, but I always try to be aware of my privilege.
Yes.
I was raised by a man who was a bad motherfucker.
I love the video.
You understand me? Too. Thank you. I miss my dad dearly. And I was raised by a mother who had a phenomenal work ethic and just a phenomenal moral code. Not everyone has that. I was raised with siblings in a close family. And, I have the same friends for 25, 30 years. Not everyone has that. So I can afford to come from a place of understanding and elevation. And when I encounter a sister who's not where I am, you know what I mean? Sometimes I have to give her grace. And even though I might not have learned, you don't always want to pick up these people and bring them to your
not
house
everybody.
And bring them into the fold.
Oh, I don't mind picking them up. Just don't be trying to pull me down while I'm picking you up.
No, very true.
Get yourself right, and I'm gonna help you. But know that you need help. Don't act like you don't need no help, and don't try to take what I'm giving you and spin it around into something else. That's the people. So listen,
that sound like junkie shit.
No, but it is. But that's what these are. These people are addicts. They addicts to a mental condition of subhumanness,
right?
That has been permeated in the community forever with us in this country. So if they not ready to take the 12-step program to understand that the first thing is to admit you got a problem, if they not there, I can't do nothing for them.
I won't argue with you there. I won't
argue. That's where I meant to go in that.
Okay, because I hear her saying something totally different that I absolutely agree with. I agree with you too, John. You can't go down with a sinking ship. No.
I nobody's asking you to do that. What I'm saying is when you're a woman who speaks proper English, when you're a woman who makes a certain amount of money,
you have a certain level of education.
Right, when you're present a certain way, you're privileged.
A black woman.
A black woman. And people I found it's even in situations like this. I've done several interviews where the brothers come to me and they want me to give them these sound bites about bitches need to and what's wrong with. No, that's not
happening.
I'm bitches.
It's me. No, I'm bitches.
We're not doing
that. There's a meme going around.
Apple Brown Betty
there's
t-shirt
a meme
if you
going
do
around
it.
like that.
It's me. I'm bitches.
Yeah, there's a meme like that. They're like, yo, I can't stand these bitches that work here or whatever. I'm bitches.
Ain't no how Steppin Marcus live from New Den Legacy and that radio. Let me get another comment in. Our sister Cara is still checking us out. We appreciate you. Thank you for being with us. She says the goal is to be present for people who are already, quote, there and ready, unquote. And those who want to be there, we give others the power to take the leap when we are transparent. We give them strength with our truth. I'm here for both of y'all.
I hear that. All right,
I just love her.
That just kind of touched me.
That's a good heart. She has a good heart.
Somebody told me once a long time ago, and I can't remember who. I think it was my brother Brett. He called him before. Brett called him. What's up, Brett? If you're listening, he said, "Luck is being prepared when opportunity comes."
Absolutely,
that is luck.
Recognizing the opportunity.
So you can because he works a lot with youth and sports. And he's like, listen, opportunity may not come, but you have to be prepared like it's coming every day.
Yep.
Because when it comes, it's like, oh, I wasn't ready. Oh, I don't got my bag's not packed. It's not waiting. Opportunity's not waiting for you.
Right. Yeah, you got to get it.
You got to be prepared every single day for when it comes. And so that's the luck.
Yeah.
And people got to understand that. Get ready. Get ready to get picked up.
Because I'm leaving. Keep your asshole waxed. Next question.
Oh, definitely. And clean.
There's that.
I cannot.
And clean.
But she's right though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clean underwear, socks,
matching bra set.
You know what I live from New Den Legacy and radio and wax you up a little too. What was
that mom used to tell? Put on the clean drawers in case you're in an accident.
Okay. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus live from New Den Legacy and radio. All right, so Aisha, you got a few minutes to do some current events with us?
Of course. What we doing?
You want to rock with us?
Oh right. Lord.
So we lost somebody. We lost Biz. And I'm hurting. I'm sure everybody is. You know, I'll lead us off here. Then I want you to jump in, and then Steph and John, in that order, will respond. I will share my full thoughts on Biz and my rant later on. I will just lead us off by saying this. We are at an age, I alluded to it earlier, 45 and up. We're here. And for me, I can't speak for you guys, but I think that I can in the sense that we are at an age where our own mortality is becoming more and more a part of our daily lives. Here's what I mean by that. My childhood best friend, not my life best friend, my childhood best friend is gone. He gone. And I love this dude. Like, that was my dude. He's gone. And just this year, we lost Black Rob. We lost Earl. You know, we lost people that ain't that much older than we are. They're in our same age group. And so it makes me feel more steadfast in my goal of making sure that if you close to me and I'm close to you, whether I say the words, you're going to know I love you. you just gonna know whether I say the words or not. Words ain't awkward for me. Like anything that you do, the more you do it, get better at it.
Yeah.
And if you love somebody, you got to say that shit. You got to say it. Brothers, fuck all this macho shit. You love your boy. You love that dude. Quit saying no homo. Fuck that. Tell him you love him. Tell him you love him. I loved Biz Markie. My earliest memory of this dude, I'm like freaking in middle school. I'm not even in high school yet. My earliest memory. Not even in high school yet. And then we lost him a few days ago. And I'm 47 years old. This dude been a part of my life for 35 years. And so when I see that he's gone, and I see that it had to do with his health, at 57 years old, it's upsetting for me. It's life, it's real life. Because we all know Biz Markie, not the man literally, but generally, we all know 57-year-old dudes whose health is not that great, who we worry about. We've been worrying about Biz for a minute, and we lost him. And he was a big part of many of our lives. And so I want to give that man some flowers. I want to pay homage to him. I want, those folks who are spiritual and think that when you leave this realm, that you attain a certain level of essence where when you get in love for those of us who are left behind. So if Biz can feel this, I want him to know. I've been in a room with him, never talked to him, never met him, but I've been in a room with Biz, and he exuded an energy where everybody felt it. You could be at the far corner of the room, or you could be standing next to him, and you felt this man's presence because he loved you just like you loved him. And so I want to give that tribute to him, and I'm going to share later on at the end of the show. I almost never tease my rants. I do it every once in a while. Tonight I'm teasing my rant. I'm going to rant on Biz Markie tonight. I'm going to give you all the floor. I get emotional about this, so give me a second. But I'm going to transition and give the mic to somebody else while I get myself together. But before we do that, every single show we do at this point of the show, our very, very favorite listener is listening to us. Our favorite listener is checking in. And I've been giving her flowers for the last 28 years. And I'm going to give her flowers until I ain't here no more. I love her. And she loves me. And we're going to say it to her together tonight.
Good morning, Sue.
I was trying to get a little harmony in
there.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. Ain't no ass that Marcus J. Our guest gonna catch on. Our guest gonna catch on. Yeah, ain't no ass that Marcus J. live from Dan Legacy and Radio. New Dan Legacy and Radio. All right. So Aisha, talk to us. I don't know if you felt anything close to Biz, but whatever you got on the topic, whatever you got is what I want.
My view on this is a little weighted, because Steph alluded to it earlier, me and the ancestors and everything. So like I've always been very fascinated by death and by transition. And even as a child, like I was a very morbid child. And here nowadays on my spiritual journey and everything, I've grown to a place where I think I appreciate death in a way that is hard for most people to, because it's painful, it's final. It's jarring a lot of times, but the most antagonistic part of death is when things are left unsaid. So when you have a artist who passed, someone who maybe you didn't know personally, I don't think that there's so much left unsaid because you exhibited your love for that person. And I think it's healthy for us to grieve people that necessarily we didn't know and meet, personally, because it's something to be said for honoring the way that they touched our lives. So me personally, like I felt it a lot more when X passed, you know what I mean? Yeah. I saw DMX, he came to Club Flavors in 1998 and I was underage and I had a fake ID and I went, you know what I'm saying? But he was a person who touched my life because he helped me to understand addiction. You know, my father was an addict, and we had a very tumultuous relationship because I was very hurt. I was heartbroken. My father was the first man that broke my heart. You know, his addiction caused him to choose, you know, that over us a lot of times, and it was hurtful.
So you felt a more distinct impression by the life that DMX led.
Yes, because he was who, if we knew that he had this addiction, and I could see past that, his talent and his gift and the way and I felt touched, you know what I mean, and moved by him, then how could I not have that same grace for my father? So like my father's a legend in these streets. Anybody who from Richmond know Mr. Larry. So I grew up with all these people who had all this respect for my dad that I necessarily didn't exhibit all the time. So DMX is the person who showed me to see my father as a man.
Yeah.
His own man.
You also saw him as a creative from what I saw you put on your Facebook page.
All of those things.
You saw your father's creative spirit, his creative
all
energy.
those things. He's always been a performer. He's always been a poet. He's always been just a ham, you know, an attention whore. That's where I get it from. You know what I mean? So DMX helped me to make that real. Like I could see my father as his own person.
Yeah.
So when it comes to people, you know, passing and transitioning, you know, beyond this life, I just encourage everyone to I'm gonna just speak plainly, you know, keep those pictures out, look at them often, talk to them out loud like they still here. It matters. It makes a difference.
Their energy is still here.
Their energy is always here.
Yeah.
And I also believe that, you know, our folks are reborn, you know, in this lifetime, and they send us messages, you know, that butterfly following you for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That bird landed right by you for a reason.
They're looking at you for a reason, you know. So it helps to have that same childlike sense of wonder when it comes to death and transition.
Yeah, the interesting thing about death is that we know so little about it, sometimes even in how it happens, but we assume so much.
Right.
Like if you say something like someone, like I said, you know, someone's energy is still here, and then you start reflecting on it, you will have people to be like, no, that's not what happens. Like we are so ridiculously attached to what we believe about the myths of death that we have no clue about, that we haven't, you know, confirmed. We'll never confirm, right? That we don't have any wonder anymore. We don't find the joy in it.
We're obsessed with knowing.
Yes.
We're
absolutely.
We're obsessed with the when, what, when, how, why. You know, we're obsessed with knowing because that's what adults do.
Absolutely.
We rationalize. We understand.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, some things. I mean, for me personally, you know, I lost my father a year ago, and it's still a struggle. You know, but that's how grief works. You know, it's gonna come times when, you know, you're okay, and then sometimes, you know, you're not okay. It comes in waves like that. But I think the most important thing about my relationship with death is I've grown to a place where I don't fear it. We talk about our health and things like that. You know, I love to get into that because it's all fun and games till you tell a bitch put the Oreos down. You know what I'm saying? But I don't fear death.
They got to do sugar-free everything.
Exactly.
Got a way of saying things, man.
Yeah. And I had them sugar-free Oreos. And they
exactly what you
you're gonna shit on yourself.
Yeah, they suck. I had the sugar-free Oreos. Yeah, not no good.
Yeah, but you know what? Then that's like, all right, we'll take that one thing out and find something else. You know, because your health is more important, or it's what matters. And I think he had diabetes for quite a while,
for
right?
a long time.
Well, John, I'd love to hear your feedback. I mean, he was. When we talk about the age range, and then you jumped in on, you know, representing the 50 plus.
We were closer to him than we are.
Well, I knew him, right? We met a long time. I want to say it was either. It wasn't 86 because I graduated. It wasn't 86. I graduated from high school 86, I think. So it was 85. There's a YMCA Midtown on the west side. There's a lot of people don't know that in Manhattan in the 50s and 60s on the west side, it's projects. Right. They're a little rough. So I think he was from those projects. And there's a YMCA over there, like next to one of the top prep schools in the country. There's a YMCA. Here we go. Biz would come to the YMCA. Scott LaRock was a counselor. And my friend Kev was also a counselor, and we would bring in our DJ equipment and do stuff, and Biz was there, and like everybody was around. Karis one was around. Everybody was around at YMCA, and it was a real big energy. And then later on in life, seeing Biz get the fame that he had, and watching him, it was just so incredible because like Marcus said, his energy was over the top. A lot of people don't realize he's a big dude. He's bigger than me. He's taller, heavier, a big dude, and very approachable as a big dude, but nothing to play with. He's real serious when he needed to be, but he was fun all the time. He was never off. Biz was always on. Smart, a lot smarter than people ever gave him credit for. And people always thought because he was having fun in his size that he was playing the fool or like something was wrong with him, but it wasn't. Biz was serious about his business, serious about getting money, and he just, his energy was over the top. He was an unappreciated artist as far as talent is concerned. People really did not appreciate his artistry. I think if we had ODB around longer, he would have been the same kind of thing. We would have got a continuation of what Biz was doing. And ODB had his troubles with drugs, but again, amazing talent and just another person whose energy was more than what we ever really got to absorb completely. And just like Marcus was saying, like coming in and grasping the fact that you're on the other side of that hill, right? Is a thing. Like there's more years behind me than are in front of me, right? And accepting that, because now it's like every day, not every day, but every year, it's like
an impactful movement.
And it's like it was one thing when it was older people, right? So older people are gonna go. People who are a little older, like the boomers, right? I'm an Xer, right? So when the boomers are starting to go, it's like, whoa, yeah. It's still kind of funny because they're not that much older. They're like our older sisters and brothers, but they're starting to go. But now when your contemporaries are leaving for things like medical reasons, for health issues, look, diabetes is real. Type 1 is a serious problem. Type 2 is a condition.
It's controllable.
And you make the choice with type 2. You make the choice. And you ain't got to give nothing up. But if you want to have a sugary lifestyle, whatever, you're gonna have to double it up with some dark green vegetables. You want to eat a pack of cookies? You got to eat. They got the
twice
salad.
as much of the other stuff.
They got the organic spinach salad for like $2 in the supermarket. A whole big thing of it. Get 2 of those. A little bit of apple cider vinegar and a couple caps of olive oil. You good. And some Mrs. Dash. Stay away from the salt. Get the Mrs. Dash. Throw it on there. You good. Eat that whole thing. And you can go ahead and have some cookies. And then drink you a gallon of water like my man Marcus is doing every day. And these things will work themselves out. But you can't, you can't. I lost a dear friend a few years back. My man Martin was like a very health-oriented guy. Like he worked out, martial artist kind of guy. But he had a diet of Snickers and Twinkies, right? And you wouldn't think that this guy got diabetes, but he got diabetes and he died. Yep. And then people that drink. Alcohol is 90% sugar. Yep. Right. So if you're gonna drink every day, if you're gonna drink every day, you're gonna have to do something every day to counteract that.
Probably should not though.
But if you are, and then you got to add to it the dark green vegetables, and then you got to add a certain amount of exercise, and then good water. You know what I'm saying? Some good water with some pH, a pH with 6 and better, some alkaline water.
I appreciate you saying that, because we act like excuse me for chuckling, but we act like as Black people,
sugar is just a thing.
Like everything is a thing. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. So we talked.
She got sugar. Earlier. No, she didn't get it.
The sugar.
Yeah, she didn't
like
get
the doses.
Yes,
you ran it. So I didn't ask for the doses. I just got the doses.
Use the real term, so just so the people who aren't on the inside joke. Yeah.
So in March, I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. That's what Bernie Mac had. I'm blessed to be young and healthy, and this goes back to what John was saying.
Oh, so wait a minute. Let's be clear. They didn't clone you and take you out because you knew the secrets of Hollywood.
I was not buying NBC.
Okay.
No.
All right, folks.
No,
so
no.
they did not clone Bernie Mac.
Hold on. Go ahead.
He had a disease.
I went to work one day and couldn't breathe and left in an ambulance.
I remember.
Turns out I had pneumonia caused by the underlying condition of sarcoidosis, which some people just get. Like there's not something you do to make this condition in your body. So I'm blessed because people like me who have the symptoms of mostly like fatigue and weight loss. I was busy being cute. I had a size 6 waist, but I didn't realize I had a size 6 lungs. Okay.
You know what?
So once I got it under control,
I try not to laugh, but you
can laugh. We can laugh at it. So once they even mentioned that word, I started doing my research. And the doctor tells me, oh, you're fine. You can do whatever you want. But that's not what my research told me. So I need to be on an anti-inflammatory diet. And that goes back to what John was saying. I'm a person, he fixed me a beautiful cocktail. I like alcohol, right? Alcohol is bad if you're a person who takes steroids. And the treatment for sarcoidosis is steroids.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I keep my body in a position that I don't need steroids.
Yeah.
And that means I have to eat the dark leafy greens. That means I have to eat mad avocado, mad salmon.
You gotta limit some other things.
Exactly. So I can do what I want to do because you can't do it all. Now, I'm blessed to be a person who's always been kind of disciplined as far as my diet is concerned. I like drinking alcohol, but I have to have that balance if I want to drink alcohol. I have to keep my vitamin D, keep my lungs lubricated. So we can't act as though things just happen in a vacuum. And we have no control over it.
Yeah.
We just, it's just irresponsible.
And I do love, and I'll just end with my statements about it. I love what you both are saying because diabetes is a real thing in our community. And one of the reasons that there hasn't been significant research, as much research on preventatives and things like that, was for so long, it was considered a Black disease. And part of the reasons that it was considered a Black disease is because of diet. And it was type 2. It's because of diet. And that diet came from the plantation and just kind of forwarded itself. And poverty causes and creates those elements as well. But then also food deserts, not having immediate access to healthy food, healthier foods, non-processed foods being more expensive. Lots of elements like that. And what we have to do as a people, as a collective, is be more aware of the fact that things like, I've heard it for years. Well, so-and-so has diabetes because their dad had it. Well, type 2 is not about, that's what a lot of people believe. And I used to be in the medical.
It's hereditary for some, but it doesn't have to be.
It is hereditary typically when it's type 1.
It's a condition.
It is type 1 is what creates, it's hereditary. It's juvenile diabetes. Typically, if you have type 1, it's been there.
Yeah.
They just, and when I used to work in the field as a surgical and medical supply rep, one of the primary conditions we focused on was diabetes. And I noticed significantly the population of Black people who were in the late stages, dealing with things like amputation, dealing with things like having to be on insulin, needing 3 or 4 pills a day.
But still eating the yams.
But still eating the exact same things, still smoking, still doing all of those things. Now you could come to the other side and see people who you rarely saw, people who were white and diagnosed as type 2 diabetics needing things like elevated medical supplies,
right?
Because they were also then immediately going to, they knew and understood that it's not something that's passed down. As John said, it's conditional,
right?
It's a condition based on how you treat your body.
Right.
So they would immediately adjust that. Meaning, therefore, you saw them less in those episodes of severe diabetic reactions. And that is one of the things that we should know, because Black Rob, there's been it's been a thing, as far as diabetes goes. Now, what I'll say to end it on my point,
Dog, but he had type 1.
Five Dog had type 1.
But he could have controlled it.
Yeah, but type 1 can often just it's hard to pull back. And then also, if you live a life where you constantly moving and going, it's a problem too.
Ain't no how Steppin, Marcus J, live from New Den Legacy and that radio. Get a comment. My sister and your sister, our sister Jessie, is checking us out. Jessie says fresh food, organic food is more expensive.
Yeah,
which is 100% true. Jessie, thank you
a part of the problem.
We appreciate you rocking.
Leave Whole Food, go to Aldi.
Absolutely.
Ain't no how Steppin, Marcus J, live from New Den Legacy and that radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. You want to rock with us, we will roll with you. Now, we talked about the loss of Biz Markie, and we had talked about wanting to talk about health, and I think we kind of did a little bit of that, and it came up organic, which I think is dope. One of the things that is also the scourge of our community, and Aisha, you alluded to this as well a little while ago, is addiction. And we lost someone this week to addiction, our sister Frankie Lyons, which is the mother of Keisha Cole. Now, I'll be honest with you, I know Frankie. I don't know Frankie Lyons.
You know someone,
but I know
like,
Frankie.
Yeah,
I think we all know Frankie.
Several.
Yes.
And I remember watching Keisha Cole's show, and I'm not one that watches that kind of show. I just I watched Flavor of Love, and I got it out of my system
early.
or that kind of reality show I got out of my system very early, because I watched Flavor of Love because I like to see pretty girls with a little bit of clothes on, just keeping it funky. Just keeping it funky.
Hallelujah.
Just keeping it funky. But by the time Keisha Cole's came along, all I knew of her was that song Love. Everybody knew that song. You either loved it or you hated it, because it was an annoying ass song. Even if you loved the song, it was an annoying ass song.
Yes, and it became an anthem.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make no sense.
She made it up as she went along. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
didn't. Thank you for that. It didn't make no sense.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview that she made it up as she went
I just
along.
liked when she went.
The video ain't even make sense.
I like that part. Every time she did that, because I would do a little something, and then I would do the same thing. And so, but anyway,
the worst.
Frankie was just the highlight of that show. Man down.
She gave us
the man down situation. And
she added some cultural elements.
I just liked Frankie. I liked Frankie. I just did. I knew she had her challenges, and I knew that she drove her family crazy, and I knew that she had some things in her bio that would make some folks frustrated with her. But she was ours, man. We know Frankie. We know Frankie.
We love her.
We know Frankie, and we love Frankie. And there are people in our own families that are Frankie. And so when you see black folk walking around casting aspersions on people who have issues, I call bullshit. Because you got Frankie Lyons in your family and you love her, right? So we're not going to do that throwing shade at people because they got a problem or they got an addiction or they got some sort of anchor around their neck that's pulling them down. We're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is we're going to pay some love to her, man, because I got receipts. I've been talking about I love this woman for as long as she's been in my conscience. And when John, you were the first one to tell me when we were doing our, production earlier, when you mentioned we were going to talk about tonight, morning. And when you said that, I was like, what the fuck, Frankie? And then I went and I looked it up. But here's where we got to talk about the uncomfortable part. We got to go get our Frankies, yo. And they tried, but we got to figure out a way. You got to go get our Frankies. Like when we look at Earl. Because I call out rappers by their first names. Mm-hmm. We look at Earl, and then we look at the Olympic runner whose name is escaping me right now. Sha'Carri. And people like them. Who are these people that's giving them drugs? Now, weed ain't drugs to me. It's just not. Weed ain't drugs to me. It's just
natural
not.
From the ground.
But she's an Olympic runner, and that shit could get her in trouble. Who's the person that gave it to her? Who gave her weed? I got a problem with
the one
you.
That came in second.
Yeah, you can't give her weed. You can't give Earl whatever the hell he had, and you can't give it to Frankie either.
I want to touch on that,
and I appreciate that, and I want you to, because this to me is, if we're going to talk about how we know and we love these people, then we got to protect them from themselves sometimes. Now, we can't always be there. And we can't blame everybody for Frankie getting that hot shot. And the same with Earl. We can't do that. But we can blame the person that gave Sha'Carri that weed when they knew she was trying to go to the Olympics. Mm-hmm. So I want to get Aisha on this one first, and then we're gonna round table it. But talk to me about this, because my feelings was hurt about that. I mean, I didn't know her personally. I knew her as a reality TV person, but I connected with her
definitely
because I know her. I got her in my family.
That's my dad. Like my dad is a beloved character like that. You know, all got mad experience. My dad was the person who, if it was a question of the call on the basketball court, they would ask Mr. Larry. You know what I'm saying? They respect his call like that. He's that guy. He's that dude. You know what I'm saying? And what I learned as a child, I was in a group at middle school for kids of people with addiction. And there were the 3 C's that stayed with me. Shout out to Miss Eva Miles. I wonder if she's still with us. She was a counselor at Benford Model Middle School. And the 3 C's of addiction: you didn't cause it, you can't control it, you can't cure it. Now, granted, Sha'Carri's a lot younger. That's a different kind of situation. When I see Sha'Carri, I have a 21-year-old child. So I see her as my child. That is somebody to be protected.
Yeah.
Nah, baby, you're going to Olympus. We're not doing that.
Right.
But when it comes to addiction, we talking about like the Earls and the Frankies and stuff. The best thing we can do for the addicts in our lives is accept them. My homeboy, Mr. Pooh, that's what my kids used to call him. Mr. Pooh probably been dead. I don't even know. I'm bad with time, but it's been a few years. And he was our local neighborhood crackhead mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Him and my dad used to get high together. The mayor, right?
Yeah, there's always one.
But this man would do anything for me. I can't. He dead now, and I still can't tell the stories of how he respected me. We've had some experiences, and he had a lot of respect for me. He would do anything for me. And he told me one time that the reason he fucked with me so hard is because I never treated him like a junkie. The best thing we can do for addicts is accept them, is to love them. You might gotta watch your purse. You ain't getting no change back from the store.
Right.
But just to treat them as a human, the same way with homeless people, we kind of shy away from them. The best thing you can do for a homeless person on the street is look them in the face and say hello, say good morning, treat them like a human, touch them, let them touch you. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine going that long with nobody touching me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or not seeing your humanity.
Or not seeing my humanity. So that's the best thing we can do for addicts. We cannot control their addiction. And I think it's futile to try. And it also can damage your relationship to try. Sometimes we have to love people from a distance. Sometimes we have to have boundaries. But the best things we can do for the addicts in our lives is just to love them as they are.
Get this comment in, and John, I want you to jump in. Sue says, let's see. Sue says that, yeah, that's why I started my garden. That's why I started I'm not sure which garden. Well, I know Sue. I know which garden she's talking about.
Yeah, one helps the other grow, though.
Let's see. So that's why I started my garden. It's right there. She can eat more of it. Jesse says, I know that's right, Sue. Jesse continues that she read that she's speaking of Shari. Wasn't breaking the law in Oregon where she smoked. I think there's an imbalance of Olympic law and state/federal law. True. Especially since marijuana isn't performance enhancing. So very, very valid points there. And cousin Tony says, that's why I love you, my cousin. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you, John. Jump in here, bro.
So, and in my humble opinion, we spoke about this a lot when DMX passed. And what I said was we have to where's our Betty Ford clinic? All right, so where's our Amy Lou or our Lena Horne? Where's our Lena Horne clinic? Or our no, let me think of somebody. Where's our Billie Holiday clinic?
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? Come on, man. We got enough money. We got enough billionaires.
Even our Whoopi Goldberg clinic, she could support
right.
that.
We got enough billionaires, right? Where they could all take about 5 or 10 million that they won't miss, put it into something where it ain't gonna go nowhere, and we could operate a clinic for free based off the interest that money again. Ain't nobody losing nothing. You can insure it, right? This how white people do stuff, right? And we could have a clinic for people. We could have clinics all over for people who we not forcing nobody, we not dragging nobody, but sometimes in the morning in the life of an addict, they wake up with a moment of clarity and they want to go get some help. And we don't have to handcuff that help to police contact or the human services department or any kind of negative vibe. It can be, walking into a clinic, signing a piece of paper and saying, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to chill here for a minute and get this together with professionals who can help you with addiction. And that even goes back to the diabetes. We're going to circle back to that because guess
That's
what?
an addiction too.
Sugar is addictive, is more addictive than cocaine. You got sugar, caffeine, and nicotine. Those are the most addictive things we have. Right? But you got to understand the government, as long as they getting a tax on it, it won't be illegal, but they'll make everything else illegal that ain't addictive, like weed. Alcohol is addictive. Alcoholism is serious. It kills more people than other drugs. But the government got their seal on the bottle, they get their tax from it, so it's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I'm not going to be the weirdo dude that does the weed versus alcohol argument, but I'm getting ready to be the weirdo dude that does the weed versus alcohol argument. And I ain't never in my life, ever, in 47 years of life, seen somebody smoke some weed and want to fight.
So listen,
doesn't mean they don't exist.
Listen, weed is not.
It doesn't exist.
Well, let's be clear.
Weed is not. Never seen.
Weed is not a drug.
I know alcoholics that want to fight.
Weed is not addictive. Right? They demonize weed because it was a way to deal with things to counteract prescription drugs. Why do you think they call it marijuana? They wanted to give it a Spanish name so they could tie it to Mexicans and Spanish people coming in, talk about they're going to smoke and rape your children. Right? People were smoking weed on a regular in the 20s, in the teens, even in the 30s. Yeah, then you had people had cocaine and snuff boxes.
It was cocaine and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, cocaine and Coca-Cola. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why Pepsi Cola is Pepsi, because it gave you a pep. Because it had cocaine in that too. And root beer has sarsaparilla, and sarsaparilla is one of the strongest de-inflammatory kind of things you can have. It works wonders. Like look up sarsaparilla and see what it does for you, because like all of these things are there. Like, and people talk about the guy from Haiti got killed because they got a plant in Haiti that was dealing with the COVID. There's a plant everywhere for everything. That's what I know. And weed is one of them plants. So let's not even talk about weed in the same breath as we talk about these harmful, addictive things, because the only reason that weed is a problem is because you could grow a plant in your backyard. It's going to grow anywhere. It's strong, and you can self-medicate, and that's good, because that's no good for the government because you're messing with the pharmaceutical industry.
Let me change directions here. Let me get a couple of comments in, and we are limited in the balance of the show, so there are a few things that I need to quick hit. So let me get a couple of comments in, and then we're gonna quick hit a couple of things. Latanya, peace to you, Latanya. Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you. Latanya says sugar addiction isn't it? It's carbs. Smoking on a regular is an addiction. I agree with her on that. I do not agree that you can't get addicted to marijuana. I know that is something that is commonly said, just because of how a person that's high off of marijuana can come off as relaxed and docile and whatever those words are. But at the end of the day, many of us know people are people that the minute that the clock strikes 5:01, you got to light up. Yeah. And that by nature is addiction. So let's keep it funky when it comes to that.
That's not quite right.
We're gonna leave it right there. And then Jesse says, I learned that if you have a medical cannabis card in Virginia, you can't purchase a gun. I would rather face someone who smokes some natural bud with a gun than someone drinking a Budweiser with a gun. That is, yeah.
That's real talk.
Yeah, that is real talk. Latanya continues, as a mental health counselor, I'm aware of marijuana addiction. So I appreciate you, Latanya, for rocking with us and sharing your thoughts. And 804-402-2893 is the number to dial if you ever want to call and be a part of the show. You are absolutely welcome. Ain't No Hashtag Marcus J, live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. I want to switch speeds. There's a few things that I want to get in here. in the limited time that we have left. I wrote some things down. They are absolutely different than what we've already been talking about and different from each other. So I want to call this quick hits. Y'all want to do some quick hits with me?
Real quick.
Let's go.
All right. So one of the Capitol rioters, one of them white folks that was in supporting Donald Trump that stormed the Capitol.
One of the insurgents.
And they were one of the insurrectionists.
One of the terrorists.
And I'm gonna say white folks, and some folks gonna have a problem with that.
I
don't mean no disrespect by that, but I'm just gonna say when you look in the crowd, most of them black folks was the cops. But that's a whole nother thing. If you want it, I'll give it to you and I'll take it from you. 804-402-2893 is what it is. But one of them folks just got sentenced to prison. He's going to prison. Mm-hmm. Capitol rioter convicted of a felony, gets 8 months in prison after the Department of Justice says stiffer sentence could stop future attacks. Now, we can sit here and grumble into the mic about how much time we think they should have got, but I'm one of those people who didn't think they was going to get nothing. So that doesn't mean that I settle. I'm still going to have a problem with it because you stormed the Capitol. You are an insurrectionist terrorist. And far as I can see, terrorists usually get death, die. They fucking kill you for terroristic stuff. If you look at what they did for 9/11, most of them cats are still in prison. This dude got 8 months. So while we can be happy that there was a conviction of a felony and somebody's going to prison, it's kind of like the what's the dude that did the kneeling on the neck of
Chauvin.
Chauvin. Like Chauvin got whatever it was he got, and the rest of us was like, why he ain't going forever? Like he's supposed to be going forever. And I'm not one of those people. Take what you get. You should be happy you got something. Nah, hell no. 8 months. 8 months. You stormed the Capitol. You a terrorist. 8 months. 8 months. I know people in jail for having less than an ounce of weed that's been going for longer than 8 months. Khalif Browder spent 2-3 years or whatever it was, and they didn't even know if he did it. He didn't get convicted.
Been charged.
He was never charged. He didn't get it. How many people we know that ain't even charged is sitting in there waiting to see if they even gonna get charged? Not only did this dude get charged, he went through the whole process as a terroristic insurrectionist with a Donald Trump flag for you Trump supporters who want to say it ain't that serious, who want to say nothing happened, who want to say that he's not complicit. Step off that soapbox. Different show, another time. 8 months, that's bullshit. John, what you got?
I'm continuously frustrated and tired with the idea of the I don't know what you call it, but it's like it's psychological, it's torture, and it's dumb, and people are accepting of it, and I just can't anymore. It's like, okay, it's like somebody for no reason coming into your home, tying you up, grabbing your kids or your wife, right, or both, and putting on a black leather glove and punching them in the face, like repeatedly, just and then throwing alcohol on their face, making them burn, like really making them suffer in front of you. And they do that every day for like a month and make sure you have to watch, right? And then what they do is on like a one day in the following month, they go, you know what? We're not going to do it today. Aren't you happy? Doesn't that make you feel good that we're not going to punch your wife and kids in the face today? You go, yes, thank you for that. And that's what's going on with this stuff. And people act like that's not the case, but that absolutely is the case, right? So we will continue to get these things, these non-important things, these nonsensical things, and these gestures towards something that's supposed to make it seem like, oh yeah, white people get in trouble too. No, they don't. They really don't. The cops beat up white people too, and they really don't. Those are outliers. Right? When you see somebody white have a problem with the police or get beat up by the police or actually get arrested, get jailed, it's an outlier. It really is. because the justice system is not designed for them to be a part of it. They just a part of it because they're a part of the country in such a number that it's just going to happen.
They're the dolphin that got stuck in the tuna net.
Right. But we the no, she right. But we the tuna.
I never heard that.
We
before.
the tuna.
That's awesome.
We the tuna or we the whale. Let's get harpooned. Everybody talk about the dolphin. The dolphins are, the dolphins are the great. The dolphins are the most vicious things in the ocean. Porpoises in general, dolphins and killer whales, the most vicious things. And you know why? Because they got brains like ours. So they do sick, demented stuff to other ocean living creatures. But once in a while, they do get caught in the net. And we go, oh, the poor dolphin. Yeah, that dolphin they done ganged up on a shark, killed it. They done slapped the seal 20 feet in the air and watch it come down. They play with their food.
Dolphins are big on rape.
Yeah, they rape. So it's the same kind of situation. It's the same kind of mentality. And I'm tired of dealing with it. I really don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear about Chauvin going to jail. He should have been shot on a firing squad. He committed murder one. Full stop. This person getting 8 months in federal prison for storming the Capitol and threatening the vice president. Again, that's treason. Should have been shot at a firing squad. That's it. But again, too much like right. And that's the USA.
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and Radio. Latanya continues. I have no issue with naturally grown marijuana. It's the added chemicals I have issue with. Our sister Jessie says, put those rioters on the terrorist list. Our nation needs to look within for terrorism. Real talk. The outlier, she continues, the outlier there is poor. And tell me why these poor white people are the biggest Trump supporters. I've been saying that forever. Thank you for making that point. She continues, my mama, an Appalachian Democrat, would say, quote, these poor white people are biting off their nose to spite their face. It's funny, Jesse, that you make that point, because I've always said that poor white people who vote Republican have to be amongst the dumbest people in our country. And I your natural instinct, I say that with all due respect. I don't want to say that with all due respect. I want to say that as some real talk. Poor white rural people who vote Republican are among some of the dumbest people in our country. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and Radio. All right, so before we continue, I gotta bid adieu to our sister Apple Brown Betty, the drunk auntie, our sister Aisha, all your names.
I love the drunk auntie.
Yeah, the drunk auntie. That's awesome. Because we're about to lose her for the balance of the show. But I want to give you an opportunity to do two things, right? The first thing is make sure that you promote Sunday night fully and thoroughly. Also, whatever it is that you want to say other than that, the con is yours, as they say on Star Trek. What you got, my sister?
Okay, first things first.
Can't flip the switch.
Turn it on.
There
that
you
helps.
go. There you
okay,
go.
so if everybody will follow me on Instagram, I'm most active on Facebook, but I'm in Facebook jail right now. So if you follow me on Instagram at apple.brown.betty, all conventional spelling, then the ticket to the ticket link is in my bio to Sunday's big show. It's going to be a great show. It's a bunch of other comedians from Richmond, 10 comedians for $20. You can't beat that with a bet. And this is like the best of the best, creme de la creme. Whatever else I want to say, like I kind of give a benediction at the end of my show, so I'm gonna give it tonight. I just want you to know that you have the juice. You always did. It's been you all along. It's always been you. Don't fall for the bullshit. The magic is within you. Write down your plans. That makes a difference. Speak things into existence. It makes a difference. Watch your mouth. Don't joke about yourself saying things that you don't want to come to fruition. Because what I found is my fleeting thoughts come true far faster than the things that I actually intentionally focus on. So I love y'all and have a good night. It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for having me. And I'll be back as soon as I'm invited.
This is your home.
You're welcome.
And you don't need an invitation. You got an open one. I'm gonna come over here and give you some love because I love you, my sister, and I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy to see the great stuff that you're doing because I told you so. It's one of them I told you so. It's one of them I told you so that I'm so okay with because I told her so. and to see it actually happening, and to see you smile, man. You look like you happy. And that's the most important thing. You look like you happy. So go out this door and go be great.
And kill whatever it is you do,
kill it. I bought my ticket. I got my ticket. I bought my ticket and whatnot. Be easy. Be happy. Be loving. So, Steph, it is you and I. So she's a girl. She's
always.
And I appreciate it.
And like one of those people you instantly like.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I don't feel any ill intent coming from her. No and pretension, I really respect that about
none
her.
of that kind of stuff. And I always tell her, first time I met you, I told you was great. And I don't always do that. There are a lot of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people that I've met in this building. Or this, not literally, but in this business. In the business. In this business. I'm not one of those people that's gonna give you flowers if you suck.
Yeah.
Like if I don't fuck with you, I'm gonna be polite, but it ain't gonna be no rosy salutations and how great you are. Because while I agree and understand and support giving folks their flowers, I ain't never gonna be fake. Never.
No. And I don't want to co-sign my name on something that's not dope.
That's bullshit.
But I will say this about her. When just sitting here with her and kind of, just feeling her energy and everything, I will hear women often say, I think that it's some kind of weird flex that's not really a flex. I don't do females. I don't have female friends. I don't have women friends. And I'm like, damn, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Because dope chicks like this they are out there
those
in
are
this
female
market.
Friends.
And you can build those relationships. And if you are the one who's saying that, check your gut.
Well, talk to me a little bit about that, sis, because, as a man, I don't really understand it that well. Now, I am a man who is very comfortable with men and women platonically. You know what I mean? And I think women are dope. Like I like hanging out with women. I like talking to women. I like understanding where you are coming from on the perspective of things that I think, I know that you might agree, but you'll agree in a different way. I think women are dope. Like they just are. And that's not me, selling that. It's not me selling that because I ain't got to do that. I'm at an age where I don't give a fuck what you think.
Right.
I'm just keeping it funky.
Yeah.
Right. So when I say that, I mean that. But I'm confused by women who say, I don't do women, I don't have women friends, because dudes know how shady dudes could be.
Exactly.
Every dude got that ain't shit dude in the crew.
Women know too.
And you do too. So why is it, and I'm not asking you to speak for all of women in the world. I just want your opinion. Why do women say that? I don't got women friends. I don't like women. Like, what's that about?
And a lot of them will deny it. And I'm not going to say I'm speaking for every single one, but a lot of times I'll hear things. And first of all of the, I don't have women friends, the reasoning or example is usually based on distrust or someone being catty or petty or underhanded. Those same women will date a man. He'll cheat on them. They'll date another man. He might cheat. They'll date another man. He might cheat. You're giving grace very much. You're giving grace to one gender and not another. The other thing about it is, okay. Caller, you ain't want to say nothing?
Okay, caller.
Call us back. We got something for you.
We had you, caller. Yeah. We just picked you up and you dropped. All right, go ahead, Steph. Finish your point.
And I think that's one thing. And two, as much as people don't like the word patriarchy, we live in a patriarchal society. Women, whether they understand it or not, whether we understand it or not, have been taught to do a lot of things for the sake of men. Make sure you can cook. You don't want to keep a dirty house. How you going to get a man? It's all these things start to pile up. Well, it's also important to appear attractive to men. And some women actually think that telling dudes, I don't carry a lot of female friends, makes them more attractive and interesting to men. And I would really question, have you given up on men with all the ones that have maybe, you have some good male friends, but surely not all of them. And surely you see some of the things that they do that make them questionable, but you don't cast them aside. You don't cast them aside. Being able to say, I don't have female friends is immediately saying that you believe all women are the same when you happen to be one. So if all women are the same, then you're not the trustworthy person. You're the problem in this equation. And usually you need to be able to step back and see what you did to generate some of those feelings. Because I never have that feeling about other women. Now, does it mean I hang with everybody? No, I have a pretty tight circle. I know what I'm trying to do. I know what goals I'm trying to achieve. And I keep my circle tight. But I keep my circle tight in general. It means I'm not including every man or woman. But you'll never hear a man say, I don't have any guy friends.
No.
You don't hear it. And
No.
when they do say it, there's often some underlying thing where that's not real. And I don't believe you.
It's weird.
And really, it's weird. It's a weird non-flex that you think it's a flex. And typically when a dude says that, you trying to get something.
You look at
You
if,
trying to
if,
get
if
something.
John, if a dude
I love
says,
and understand women. I don't have male friends. Now, I need you to have male friends. As a matter of fact, I can't tell you how to function as a man. So when things are going really bad and you want to, and you're my man and you want to talk about me, maybe you don't need to talk to me. Go talk to him. Go tell your homeboy that my girl is crazy. She acting up, this, that, and the other. And then come back with some good sense. Pick better friends. If you don't have a friend in your own gender, pick better friends.
John, when I hear
and stop being the problem.
If I ever heard a dude say that I don't have male friends, I'm looking at him like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Let me help you out.
Like this phrase that my brother Big Joe and I have, Big Bro Joe, Legacy and Radio alumni. We've been brothers for well over 20 years. And there's a Tupac song called Homeboys. And the way the chorus goes, you ain't shit without your homeboys. That's the chorus. That became our theme song, like in the ashes of Tupac's life, right? When we lost him, when that song came out, that became Marcus J and Big Bro Joe's kind of theme song as brothers. You ain't shit without your homeboys. And I just don't understand how women don't feel the same way. Like there's a certain kinship that I would think that will come from the shared experience of being ladies and dealing with our bullshit.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say real quick about that, the other thing that's interesting is those same women will say things like, your house is not balanced if you don't have a man around your son. Because usually it's the same kind of woman, right? If you don't have a man in the household, boys need a man to grow up and so on and so forth. I'm a better
so
parent.
Do girls.
I'm a better parent for the women that I've been around. I'm a better woman for the women that I've been around. I'm a better parent to an adult woman because of the women that I've been around. They've given me insight that a man could never give me. You don't know what it's like to be a mother. You don't know what it's like to be a mother having a relationship with a daughter and all the things that come about. So I look for that guidance. I look for that encouragement. I look for that nurturing from my sisterhood. I don't look for that from a man. So if you are eliminating your sisters from your circle as your friendship, I just can't believe that you're the best woman you could be. And I'd argue with you on it too.
Okay, so I'll try to put a bow on this. Steph. I'll try to put a bow on this.
Thanks,
for us.
John.
I will say that I don't have any male friends. If you're a male, you ain't my friend. You're my brother. Otherwise, I ain't.
That's semantics, though. Let's really focus on the seriousness.
but no, I'm focusing on the seriousness because I mean what I say, right? Friendship is a funny thing, right? Friendship is a funny thing. Associations, friendships, and things of that nature. I don't really have those kind of relationships with a lot of different men because I'm a man. Men, for the most part, repulse me, right? I'm attracted to women. So if you're a man, you got to be of a certain quality of man that is, I believe, rare, that's going to allow me to occupy the same space as you without wanting to choke you out. There's a certain natural aggression in space that I feel that as a man, I have a very natural aggression. Now, because I'm not an animal in the jungle, in the wild, I can control instinct. I have intellect that overpowers instinct. So I won't act on certain things, but my comfort zone, right? My comfort zone is a special place. So I only allow what you would call friends in that. That's a small circle. I more easily, more readily get along in a space with women.
That's not shocking, though.
Right now,
we create that space.
Now, let me finish this. I'm definitely better in a room full of women than in a room full of men. I'm more comfortable now because at any point in time, I'm thinking about, can I kill the whole room? So the thing about it with women, I feel, I don't know, but I'm not a woman, but I've spoken to, I guess, hundreds of women in over a lifetime, in-depth, long conversation about it. It seems to me that they don't like the perception of the cattiness. It might be false, but it's there. There's an idea that it's there, that there's cattiness. And then a lot of time they don't like the idea of, if I haven't known you my whole life, if I just met you and you really don't know me, you might have some problem with me that you'll never express, and you'll smile in my face forever because they've witnessed it from some other women, and they kind of put that on other women unjustly and different things of that nature. But it seems to me that it's natural that the opposite sexes attract one another, and people just have a poor way of expressing it sometimes. Like you said, when he's talking about semantics, and it is semantics on a certain degree. And a lot of times those women who say, I don't have no women friends, you know what they got? They got 4 sisters and 3 aunts. Right? So those are their friends, who they feminine friends who they talk to all the time, and they don't deal with a lot of women in the street because maybe they were coming up. When they were coming up, a lot of women, for whatever reason, maybe they were big when they bigger girls when they were young, they got picked on. Maybe they were very pretty girls and they got singled out or whatever, or skinny or tall or whatever happens. And these things, these psychological issues that we deal with trying to blend or trying to be a part of this construct that's this society we live in this country, creates all kind of mental problems. These are mental and emotional issues. When women say that I don't have no women friends, it's semantics in a certain level, but on another level, it's a mental problem. We got mental health issues in this country, and they're not by accident. They're not by accident.
Well, I already said that.
What I'm saying is, though, understanding that when a person says something like that, they're doing their best to try to express something, but they don't have the tools, right? And that's one of my things I like to go to. You only can work with the tools that's in your box, right? And in their mental, emotional box, they don't have the tools to properly express what it is that they're going through mentally or emotionally. So they come out and say something like, no, I don't want no female friends.
And they also explain why they believe it. And that's what I addressed.
Right. But what I'm saying is understanding they explaining why, but that's the words you get.
I understand what you're mansplaining to me. I get that
there's an underlying.
I've done it for like 10 minutes. I'm listening to the mansplaining.
I'm John-splaining. I'm not mansplaining.
You're a man, so it's mansplaining.
No, it's John-splaining because I'm John. I'm John before I'm a man.
Oh God.
And I embrace both my chromosomes, the feminine and masculine. I'm an XY. I'm an
Ultimately,
XY being.
I will tell you, I probably understand this a little bit better because
of course you do, because it's a woman question.
Woman. Yeah.
Right. Of course you understand it better than me, but you don't understand what I understand better than me. So I will express myself.
Okay.
I will John-splain because it's me telling my story. It ain't got nothing to do with man. It has everything to do with John. And what John is saying is, well, that's why I was asked the question. John's answering. What John believes is that it goes down to the
He asked you about men. You started on women.
No, the initial question was about women.
To me. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we move it
on? So we will drop this.
Yeah.
So we will drop the whole women thing. With men, it's easier to get along with women. Men is tough to get along with because you want to punch them in the face.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I am a man who I am more comfortable around women than I am around men, but it ain't because I want to punch them in the face. it's because I am a natural sensitive man. I am an emotional man, and I know that doesn't play as well around other men because of the stuff you was just talking about, wanting to punch everybody in the face.
Well, I think I'm sensitive too.
Hold on. I listen now.
Right,
Hear me out. That is off-putting because it's unnecessarily aggressive. Now that's how you feel. So I'm not casting aspersions on you individually on how you feel. But what I'm saying to you is it's off-putting for ladies to hear that, even though you're not talking about them. You're telling them, I'd rather hang out with you because I want to beat that guy up. And that doesn't come off very well, no matter how personal that is for you. As a man who is a naturally sensitive man, I can be aggressive, and there are times I want to fuck somebody up too. But that is not my go-to. My natural go-to is I want to love up on you, and I want to just be playful and be happy and go lucky and all that type shit. And I am more likely to get that energy around women. And that's the reason why I'm more comfortable with them, because with dudes, it's always unnecessary competition. I ain't in competition with you, bruh. I just want to hang out with you.
And so that goes back to my original statement. I don't understand when women naturally create an environment that is more nurturing, more of a conduit to you being calm, open, reflective. That is why that I always say men don't necessarily marry for love. We get married for very different things. And often it's that thing, that soft place to land that women provide for men. Why all of a sudden we're acknowledging that's what women offer. Why all of a sudden will I as a woman not want to have that same environment and immediately say, well, I don't deal with other females. I'd rather be around men who do not offer that environment.
And not only that, and in many cases are going to be adverse to what you need.
Yes.
Because
naturally
they're
looking for, and they are immediately, the relationship is changed. So while you might think that woman is catty and there are things she's not saying, I have been in a room, a group full of men, and been the minority as an only woman in the room. And in my mind, yeah, there's somebody in there wants to sleep with me and they're not saying that. And that's just as uncomfortable as being with a woman who might have some beef with me and she's not saying it. Because again, it goes back to what is your natural intention as it relates to me. So being in the room or having women in my circle, I have some phenomenal women in my circle. And the minute that a woman says that to me, I immediately question what you don't see in yourself that you could add to another sister and she could add to you. That's it.
Kara is with you, John. Kara says, John, you're so strong stance, but I understand it. But I choose to understand. Everyone won't. She chooses to understand.
I get it.
And I dig that because, I don't want anybody to take what I said adverse to where you're coming from, because I understand where you're coming from. I just don't share that existence, because while we're brothers and we mesh well, we built different on certain things. It's not my natural instinct to want to beat up the dudes in the room.
Oh, I don't want to beat them up, but I want to be assured that I can.
See that,
right? Because the way men interact is like this. We're gonna argue up to a one point. See, a woman will argue forever and not stop. Men are gonna argue up to one point, and then it's gonna be like, look, either we're gonna fight or we're gonna forget about it. See, a woman, to me, my experience with women, if you're gonna talk, if you're willing to talk, they're gonna talk. And y'all could talk forever, and eventually it'll get worked out. With a minute, just like, yo, I don't agree with you. I don't agree. What we gonna fight? No, all right, I'm gonna leave.
I just said, now here's where you lose me.
That's how I feel.
No, I respect that, but here's where you lose me. I am the anomaly in your analogy because I ain't trying to fight. I don't want to fight. I'm not gonna fight. You can fight,
but see, that goes back to what I said about the certain quality that is rare, where we can have a discussion like we're doing right now,
right?
And then we can agree to disagree.
Right.
We can value each other's opinions as intelligent, but just different because we're built different. That's a level of understanding that is uncommon today in the group that we're talking about. Because usually you get down to a point to where somebody says something a little bit not so right about calling you out your name or saying something funny, stop taking it someplace it ain't got to go, or saying that something that you said, calling you stupid or calling you effeminate or whatever the case is based on what it is you saying. And then it's like, you know what? Now we not having a conversation. Now we about to fight. So let me just leave
here's
the room.
where I blow up that whole argument. Sisters do that same shit. Sisters want to throw shit at you. They got a whole reality TV series of shows where sisters do exactly what you're saying.
But you know the beauty of it? The beauty of it is when you a man and you looking at that woman, you understand that, you know what? I'm not putting my hands on her.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna. But you know what? But you know what I'm gonna do.
Though.
But you talking about what she would do to me. But they do to each other. That's different.
Okay.
Right. But I'm saying as a man,
agree, but I'm
saying as a man being in a room with a sister, all of that, I'll take all of that.
But that
and because I know when it's all over, I'm still gonna get some conversation and we're gonna get where we going.
I think that overt, unnecessary aggression is the anomaly in this discussion, and it is prevalent in men. More so than women, but it's in women too.
I think it's an American thing. We're an aggressive people as a nation, and we built on violence.
And I also
it's hard to get away from it. I'm trying to escape it. I got a lot of underlying issues with violence in my life, things that I saw as a child and things I'm still wrestling with. But understanding that we are a violent nation, we live on violence and we get bombarded by violence all the time. It's something to deal with. You know, you deal with it. Knowing that you have a problem is the first way to solve a problem. So it is a problem.
I think it's also interesting that what I started off saying was specifically about women. And I said that it's a patriarchal society. And I can always be sure when I make statements like that there's a woman or women who may not make any statement to support what I'm saying, but will support a man. And it just goes to show you how patriarchal our society it is. Women are driven to be like, I don't want you to feel bad about this, sir. I want you to feel better. I may not agree, but I want you to feel better. And a woman could be sitting in the room and saying something that has impact and is true, and a woman will not feel naturally inclined to support her. That's patriarchy.
Yeah.
And that's submitting.
Yeah.
Truly.
Absolutely.
That's submitting to it.
100% agree.
I think that
100%.
if we don't acknowledge that we live in a white supremacist patriarchal world, not just country,
even one
but
that
world,
makes Black women look at each other as adversaries, because it's easier for me to support you and your strength, or it's easier for a woman to support you and your strength and make you feel better about your masculinity than it is to hop behind me and make me feel better about saying something that's actually true, but is contrary to what this world needs to hear. And we need to start getting real about that. As a woman who identifies truly with the issues that women consistently face, I always find it interesting that if I'm speaking in a room and a man follows, that man will get a cosign because it's easier. It makes women more comfortable. And you should just absorb that. And that's okay. That's not me saying I need you to co-sign, because Steph B is very comfortable supporting my own statements. But it is something that women need to be more conscious of. And it also goes back to supporting the statement. That's why you're more comfortable with men. You are assigned to his masculinity. You're assigned to immediately believe that his show of aggression, even an unnatural show of aggression, is more beneficial or understandable than a woman making a statement that's very clear and very clearly says we have to do better with one another. But the follow-up is, brother, I don't want you to feel bad about how you feel. We have to work on it.
You taking care of him in the midst of
a sister making a statement that's like,
I was about to say something as you were speaking, and as I continued to listen to you, it completely flipped my idea. What I was gonna say was about fixing this thing and what we got to do, and we got to go to the root of the problem and understand it, so on and so forth. But then I realized I was contradicting myself as I was thinking it, because we haven't even acknowledged that it's a problem yet. What you're talking about, if it is, it's such a small voice.
It's in a group of Black women that other Black women are afraid to speak up. And I will say,
we need to deal with that, because what you said is absolutely true. And to hear it spoken is eye-opening, because it's like something that you know, But then when you hear the words, it's like, whoa, it's different.
Yeah.
So yeah,
in our community, if we're honest with ourselves, you know, white women supported white men because supremacy works for them. It is a necessity. White supremacy, and it engages and lifts white women too. So why would I fight against it, right? So therefore, yes, I'm likely to vote for Trump if I'm a white woman, right? Or I'm likely to see that a white woman running for president is not the thing I want, because the symbolism of strength that I've always experienced in my space as a white woman would be white men in positions of subjugation and leadership, right? But you flip that around and it's not very different for Black women. Black women, while we've had to mule for our society, meaning work from the plantation to the grave, historically, we've also had to raise our children. Many out there have had to raise their children. I'm fortunate that I've always had first, a husband, then a co-parent. But many have had to do it alone. Many Black women will work 2 and 3 jobs and take care of the community. But they have to support patriarchy as well in their mind, because what are you doing? You're birthing Black men. You're raising Black men. You're watching white society beat Black men up. You're uncomfortable with those ideas. You're uncomfortable with the idea of releasing patriarchy and holding men accountable. Men want power. Doesn't matter. If we replace Black men with white men, you will get the same experience, period. Because power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's just it.
We need the power to have the women. And that's what we want.
And once we get in there, it's not like you're going to all of a sudden adjust and be like, let's make women equal.
No,
it's not going to happen.
Ain't no Steppin, Marcus J live from New Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Caller, what your name is? What you want to get in on?
What's going on, family? It's a blast from the past. It's your man, K-Dub, up in New Jersey via Atlanta, Georgia. What's going on, family?
What's going on, my brother?
What up, K-Dub?
So mote it be, brother.
So mote it be, brother. So mote it be. So listen, man, I jumped in the conversation, and pardon me for coming in kind of sort of late. But I had more of a question. And I apologize. I think it's John. Am I correct?
Yes, John. How you doing, brother?
John.
Mote it be.
Hey, let me ask you a question, brother.
Yes, sir.
I was intrigued with what you were saying in regards to, the comfortability of fellas being around fellas, and then, being in the company of women, so on and so forth. But you kind of piqued my interest. I wanted to kind of ask you a little bit more behind. You were saying that being in a group of fellas, you're a little bit more aggressive or what have you, as opposed to, let's say, being around females. Am I correct with that assumption?
Yeah, yes, you are. But there are circumstances in that I may not have made as clear as I needed to make. That my circle is small for a reason, because only certain people of a like mind I can be around without that happening. See, being born and raised in New York City, in Brooklyn, one of the first things you do when you walk in a room is you size it up, and you make sure that if something goes down, you getting out the room. So I look at every man as a possible somebody I may have to take out. So I see what I'm dealing with and know what I'm dealing, and know what I can do. And in that way, it's a constant level of certain amount of aggression, a certain amount of hostility that you got to have, because it's hard to win a fight when you don't have aggression, which is not to be confused with anger, right? So now if I'm in a setting where I'm with the people who are my brothers, and I said that I don't have guy friends, I got brothers. We already understand each other in such a way that that's not necessary. I can leave all of that alone, right? But I can go into a room of women I don't know, and I don't necessarily have that. I'm still aware of my surroundings, and I'm still looking at the situation and taking care of myself, but that level of aggression is toned way down. And part of that is kind of what Steph says too, is it's made possible by the patriarchal society that I was born and raised in, right? Because women kind of want to hear what I got to say because I'm a big guy, right? I'm a big guy.
Well, let me ask you this, and I appreciate it, and you're absolutely right, because that's your
what you've come up and so on and so forth. But let me ask you this. Do you think that as we get older as men, that, that level of maturity changes? So I'll give you an example. Myself and Marcus J, we're from Jersey City, New Jersey, not too far from Brooklyn.
I know the hood. I know Jersey City.
Huh?
I know Jersey City well.
Okay, so we've grown, and as we've grown, now granted, growing up, we all grew up in this tri-state area, and it's all about your aggression, and you're always kind of keeping your head on the swivel. If something pop off, then you're ready for the pop off. But what I've and again, this is just my own personal, I'm just, trying to see what,
definitely
get more of a
appreciate
grasp of it. I was thinking, as we get older and get more mature, doesn't that aggression level come down when we are in the presence of, let's say, men that we may not know? I mean, I know for Marcus, I probably can speak for Marcus J, as well as myself and a number of other of our guys that have ventured out away from the tri-state area, and we're around groups of individuals that we won't necessarily say that they're quote unquote brothers, but being men. And I think that level of aggression, shouldn't that level of aggression kind of lower itself as we get a little bit more mature and get more, kind of dealing with different types of people, and, or better yet, different types of men, and understanding, well, maybe that may not be applicable. I'll give you an example. When I first moved to Atlanta, Georgia, me and my boy, we went to a restaurant, and, I felt like the waitress kind of said something kind of slick or what have you. My first impression was to kind of like, combat her. And my boy kind of tapped me and was like, nah, bro, leave that in Jersey. And I started to realize, like, yeah, a little bit of that aggression is applicable for the New York, New Jersey, or what the tri-state area. But as we kind of venture out and deal with different people and different cultures, so on and so forth, maybe that aggression isn't really applicable. Anyone agree, disagree?
Well, what I will say about that is, in the age thing, in my opinion, what happens is tools that are in your toolbox, right? As you get older and your body starts to let you know your age, you find different coping mechanisms, right? So as opposed to staying in the room, you might leave the room faster, right? Because it's like, this ain't what I do anymore, right? So a lot of older men, Marcus, they carry pistols, because I'm not going to roll around in the concrete with you. You get too close to me, you getting shot.
I carry a pistol,
right?
Man. I don't want that smoke.
So
but you can have it.
That's a certain kind of way of maturity and changing in that thing. But what it comes down to for me is, it's like this. There are very few people that I've met. I've met a lot of people in my life. I'm 53 years old. There are very few people that you meet, men, who you can converse with, disagree with, and still have a pleasant interaction, right? Because men have a need to be dominant, and men don't ever want to feel like they're being dominated, because what that does is, that's part of we like I said earlier, X and Y chromosome. We got a feminine thing that part of us that's we're always told to suppress that emotion, suppress that feeling, suppress that. So anytime you feel like you being dominated, especially by a man, it's like he bringing the woman out of you. So you don't want that. So you're not going to get in a situation with somebody who you talk to, and you can't disagree and maintain a pleasant, cordial environment while disagreeing, be it sports, be it politics, be it whatever. So because of that, because
I think about myself. I play sports, you know what I'm saying, and being around playing against cats or playing with cats that I don't necessarily know. Yeah, we agree, we get aggressive or whatever, but when it's over with, shake hands and keep it moving. Marcus and I are a part of an organization that we come across a lot of different men, and yes, we have fallout arguments, but hey, everybody shakes their hand and just say, I'm gonna respect your opinion, respect mine, and we kind of keep it moving. And I just think that I just don't really see where that aggressive part is still in play when we're dealing with those particular individuals. And again,
because you're talking about it. No. I'm in the same organization. We are in a small group, bro. And that's what and a lot of people sometimes have an understanding of things based on their circle. We're in a very small circle. Like I have people who I know who think that Black people are making strides financially in this country because their circle are upwardly mobile Black people. When the truth is, more Black people are poor now today than ever. So it's an understanding. If you've never lived in a housing project, you don't understand how many people live in a housing project, right? And you don't understand that everybody in that housing project is poorer than poverty, right? Whether or not they faking the funk to be in there or not. If you don't have enough money to get out or you choose to stay, you poorer than poverty, right? No matter what the circumstances, selling drugs, whatever the case is, don't matter, right? So understanding that about the small part that we play in society and understanding that the smaller part that the circle you're talking about are dealing with, what I'm saying is, yeah, that is my group. And that's why I say they're not friends. They're my brothers, 100%, for lots and lots of reasons. Friends, associates, casual people who you deal with on time to time. I'm far more comfortable dealing with those kind of people as women as opposed to as men because I don't never wanted to go there.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J live from New Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Dub, take the final word before we go towards the end of the show, bro.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part, brother.
I was saying you get the last word because we're gonna move towards the end of the show.
Oh, hey man, listen, I'm not in any disagreement. I just wanted to kind of get a little bit of clarity. And even in this particular situation, you know what I'm saying? There may be times where, hey, we can just agree to disagree or what have you, but we're still gonna be brotherly. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
And I think, again, this is my own opinion. I think that, me personally, I think that as time goes along and we mature, as well as we deal with different types of people, you know what I'm saying? I think that sometimes that aggressiveness kind of goes by the wayside and you kind of respect the person for, you know what I'm saying, their particular opinion, and you just agree to disagree, you know, and just keep it moving. I see where you're coming from, and I agree, but I think that was more of my particular mindset, let's say more so in my teens and my 20s or what have you, as opposed to now being in my 40s.
I can dig it. Hey, bro, I appreciate you rocking, man. It's been so long since the airways of Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J and Legacy in that radio have heard your voice. So I'm glad that you're here, brother.
Well, you know, during that time, I'm in that building. You know what I'm saying, with the Bible in the middle of it. So you know.
Yeah, I know. You want to shout out your brothers? You can if you want to.
Hey man, shout out to you know what I'm saying, WC Thomas Lodge number 112 in Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to you,
what's up?
And shout out to Legacy Internet Radio. That's what I'm gonna put out there.
That's is Brother Little associated with that lodge? That lodge sounds familiar to me. You know Brother Little?
WC Thomas Lodge number 112. We would say Brother John Lewis, Brother Ambassador Andrew Young, Dr. Martin Luther King's father.
Right, I know. Okay. Yeah. I know a few brothers associated with that further down the line. Not that lodge in particular, but I think it's under the same grant. And that's my brother Little in Atlanta, and brother Rico,
and also Emmanuel Lewis.
Yes,
I got an opportunity to meet that brother when I came to your lodge, and you know, I enjoy his presence. I'll just leave it there, brother. K-Dub, love you, bro. Appreciate you.
Love
man.
you, bro.
Hey man, love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man, and for y'all and everybody that's hearing my voice, stay safe and you know what I'm saying, enjoy yourselves.
Create the world that you want to live in. Whenever I say that, I got it from that man right there.
Oh, that's our motto on the show now.
Yeah.
Thank you for it, brother.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Y'all be safe. Later.
Peace.
Ain't No Hashtag with Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and Radio. Perfect spot for us to transition towards the end of the show. We got our rants, we got our closings, we got our missing child, we got our moment in Black history. Let's get it. We're looking for Kamaria Jefferson. She is a 14-year-old Black female. She's 5 foot, 160 pounds. She's 14, been missing since July 5th. Kamaria was last seen wearing white and purple shoes, blue shorts, and a blue, purple, pink shirt. She was also wearing a gold chain with a hand on it. If you've seen Kamaria Jefferson, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children at website missingkids.org or contact the Richmond City Police Department at 804-646-5655. 5100. We are also looking for Janika Stallings. Janika Stallings has been missing since July 16th. From here in the Cap City, Henrico County more specific, she's a 15-year-old black female. She is 5'3", weighs 150. Janika was last seen on July 16th. She has a nose ring on each side of her nose, and her hair is dyed orange. Janika also goes by the nickname Nana. If you've seen Janika Stallings, please contact the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact the Henrico County Police Department at 804-501-5000. If you've seen Janika Stallings, if you've seen Kamaria Jefferson, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact them via the phone at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J Live from New Dan Legacy and Radio. This week in Black History, couple of things I want to get to. We're going to stay current. We're going to start with the oldest date in 2001, starting with Harvard University Civil Rights Project releasing a study finding that schools were more segregated in the year 2000 than they were in the 1970s before desegregation efforts, including busing, began. 2015, after discussing the need to protect Confederate memorials, North Carolina's House passes bill requiring legislative approval to remove historical monuments. The bill is signed into law days later. This was in 2015. If you think about what we were going through last summer in 2020, 5 years later, here you had the aftermath of the George Floyd slaying and the Ahmaud Arbery and the Breonna Taylor killing. All of those, along with the others, brought the issue to the forefront where we just said, fuck it, we're going to pull them suckers down on our own. Or we're going to make it so defaced that you're not feeling it. And for those folks that want to give me the bullshit about you're defacing property, you know what? We had to sit and look at that albatross since 1865. By my count, y'all suckers got 150 years of those graffiti tag monuments that y'all got to stand there and look at. 2016, days after shooting black therapist Charles Kinsey and handcuffing him as he lay bleeding on the ground in North Miami, Florida, police claim officer was aiming for his unarmed autistic patient. Many of us remember that. This man laid out in the middle of the street begging not to be shot because he out there trying to protect his autistic patient. Some bullshit. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Let me get some final comments in from the folks in social media, and then we are going to take it home. Our sister Jessie, who's been rocking with us the whole night, said, great show, y'all. Catch you later. Appreciate you, Jessie. Thank you, and thank you again for being a part of tonight's show. We rock with you because you're rolling with us. My brother, my cousin, Tony says, we all know what it was. It's a damn shame that nothing is going to happen to most of those good old folks who stormed the Capitol. 8 months in prison for the first one. Who knows? We'll see. But the precedent has been set, and I doubt if anybody's going to get any more than 8 months, at least not a lot more than 8 months. Cara, the career cheerleader, she says, what kind of woman argues forever, though, because I don't? I'm glad you said your experience with women. I'm the exception. She continues, I think you'll find more women are the exception, too. It may be indirect attraction. And she felt you, Steph, when you were speaking your point. This is still the career cheerleader, our sister Cara, who is our featured guest on our prior show the last time we were on the air live. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J Live from New Dan Legacy and Radio. It's time for us to close it out with our rants and with our closings. The usual suspects will go ahead and get in. Before I do, I will close us out with my rant and my closing. I already told you I'm talking about biz market tonight. John and Steph can talk about what they want to. John's going to lead us off. You got the con, bruh. What it do?
I'm going to deal with a couple of fallacies and bad information. Confederate flag that these people walk around with ain't the Confederate flag. It came back into play in the 1920s. And had a big rise right around the same time all those monuments got built. The Civil War had been over, the Robert E. Lee in a letter that he wrote said that, yeah, we need to forget about it. Like, he wasn't asking for a monument. He was saying we had to be a country again, deal with what we deal with, and move forward as a country. So he didn't want a monument because he lost and he knew it. Right. So the monuments started coming up in the 20s, and then they started coming up again in the 60s when civil rights was an issue. It's new stuff. It's a continuation of old stuff, but it's new stuff. And they find new ways to shape it, but it comes back down to chattel slavery. And unfortunately, unfortunately, but deliberately, poor white people are caught in the mix, and they still cannot understand it. No matter how many times you try to explain it to them, the aliens didn't take Elvis, right? Bruce Lee and Tupac are both dead, and the Earth is not flat. So we gotta get our minds right, folk. Everybody, get our minds right, and let's start dealing with the reality of things as they are. Another one I want to deal with is about black men and fatherhood. I found out some stuff about a week ago, and they were going through statistics. And statistically speaking, just on the numbers, right? Black men are more involved in their children's lives than white men. The problem is when they do numbers, they have predisposed conditions about parenting, and one of those things is marriage. So a lot of black fathers don't marry the mothers of their children, but they're significantly more active in the children's lives as parents than white men. But they want to come down on about black people, black fathers in the home, and they're not doing that. They doing more than white men. So it's something else to it. It's something else to the children. It ain't because the black fathers ain't in the home and the black fathers aren't parenting. That ain't it. It's something else, y'all. It's the school to prison pipeline. It's that OSIS number in the public school system that they decide in the first grade if your child is stand out and has leadership potential and speaks his mind, they're gonna put him in special ed and send him right to prison as soon as possible. So be aware of that. Listen, this pandemic, they try to do a okie dokie on us, but use it to your advantage. Homeschooling is the thing now. Virtual learning is the thing now. They have several programs that you can log on to and get and have your children educated without putting them in the system that's trying to put them in jail or prison. So let's get away from that. A big fallacy, another one, slavery, right? And I get this from black people and they kill me. Other people were slaves and the Africans sold people into slavery. That's not how it worked, y'all, right? Slavery in Africa as it was practiced was not chattel slavery, right? People were brought into the society as slaves, but they were able to work through and become productive members of the society, even into leadership roles, from slavery to leadership within one lifetime, right? So when they went to Africa and traded guns, because that's all they would give, right? That's all they would give. That's all they would trade for slaves was guns. You couldn't give nothing else. You couldn't give gold. You couldn't give nothing. You had to give human bodies. So when they told them that they were giving them slaves, they thought they were giving them slaves the way they took slaves, which was you bring them into society, they work for a period of time, they become educated, they become blended, they become part of the family, and they increase the value of your tribe as they are acclimated. They didn't know they were going into a lifelong term that was passed down generationally. That if you were a slave and your child was born a slave and could never be anything else. That wasn't the deal that was made in Africa. So stop selling the African sold us and there was slavery. Chattel slavery as it's practiced in America was American exclusive. It's our thing. Started in the Caribbean, right? And then made its way over to the Americas in the 1700s, right? In the late 1700s at that. In the early 1700s, it was people working their wells, gaining their freedom, buying their freedom, working their way out. You had a lot of white slaves, more white slaves than black slaves in the 1600s. Blacks didn't start out numbering the whites until in the 1700s. So from that 1619 all the way up until I think it was like 1720, whites outnumbered blacks. Then they started with the Caribbean style, where they made the overseers and the white, and they became a black and white thing. And this is what we had for the time period after that. And the first slaves that were part of the Atlantic slave trade went the other way. The black people from Hispaniola and Barbados, Puerto Rico, wherever Christopher Columbus landed, he never got here. But wherever he was, they sent the black people that they found there. And let's not make no mistake, he found black people there, not the nomad native people of this landmass from the west side. They found woolly-haired, black, wide-nosed, dark people on those islands, and they sent them back to Europe as slaves. And that's how they got the idea to run down into Africa to find more people like them, to make them slaves and send them back the other way, because by the time they went back there to get more, they had killed them all. Right? And then when they got here onto this landmass, they found more black people in cities, not in huts, not in tents, not in teepees, in cities. They describe it as larger than London, right? With houses and buildings spreading out as far as the eye can see. So we have to get off that fallacy. So stop believing all the nonsense. Get your mind right. Figure out what you need to do. Like Marcus said, create the life that you want to live so that none of this stuff will affect you overall. Because you can't, it's self-actualization. You cannot experience when all you can think about is whether or not the lights are going to be on. Right? So you need peace of mind in order to have proper thought. In order to have peace of mind, you got to have self-sufficiency. In order to be self-sufficient, you got to figure out a way. Everything is at your access. We got the internet, it's the World Wide Web. Anything you want to know, you can find out. Take your time, learn, and do better and be better. That's my rant.
Ain't no half step with Marcus J, live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Before I close us out, our sister, the usual suspect, along with John and me, co-host of the show, Steph B. What it do, homie? Take us home.
It's late. I'm gonna keep it short.
Okay.
It's okay for your kids to have a good life. It's okay for them not to have to experience the tough things you did. Nothing bothers me more than when I hear people saying things like, well, I had to learn, or they got to make their own mistakes, or sometimes you got to learn the hard way. Why would you want the most important people in your life outside of you to learn the hard way? If your learning the hard way was a bad or abusive relationship, why do you want your daughter or son to go through it? If your learning the hard way was mismanaging your credit because you didn't understand it, why wouldn't you want to teach an alternative lesson? I recognize that kids don't always listen, but unless they're deaf, they are hearing. And sometimes you just have to keep putting the messaging out there. And when they are mature enough, they'll recall that message and follow it. But us as a people, we have to stop making struggle a badge of honor. It is not a privilege to struggle. It is actually a punishment. It is a punishment that is derived from where we sit in this space, from how we got here, which you heard John just discuss in a very educated way. Thank you. You opened up a lot of different things that people think. So I appreciate that. But if you know that the experience that we are having as Black people in this country is not necessarily the experience that we deserve, why would you add to that by pushing your children into the funnel of struggle? So if you're out there and this is the thing where you say to yourself, sometimes to make yourself feel better about this positioning that your child is in, or about the fact that you didn't feel you could stop them from making poor decisions, I just want you to recall that the hard way doesn't always have the consequences that you have control over, that you believe you have control over. When they go out there and they learn the hard way, they often end up in positions in which you cannot help them out of it. And those positions can be jail. They can be bad relationships that end up with them dead. They can be out in the streets in general. So it is better to start off with the understanding that anything that you experience does not have to be replicated in the life of your child. And that's my rant.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. So I will take us home. I've been talking all night about how when we close out the show with the rant, my rant, and my closing, that I'm going to be talking about Biz. And so I'm going to close this out with Biz. Just kind of share my thoughts on him because, you know, when we lose a hip hop artist, a genre that I'm intimately connected to, it hurts, especially pioneers like Biz. And I remember the first time Biz was like my guy. Like, I had heard of Biz before. First time he was my guy when I heard the Vapors. First time he's my guy, I was like, yo, what the fuck is that? And I didn't understand that was James Brown's sample. I became a James Brown fan a little bit after that, but I'm like, yo, that beat is insane. And the story he told was like, yo, he hit on everything, you know, and it was a song that wasn't like his trademark silly song. Like, you know, it was a bona fide hip hop song that was dope. In 1988, I'll argue with anybody when I have more time. 1988 is the greatest year of music in my lifetime. I was born in 1974. And 1988 doesn't get no better than that. Hip hop, obviously, but all the music. 1988, Vapors came out 1988. Fast forward to 1993/94. I'm here in Virginia now, and I'm at Virginia Union University. I'm repping my squad today. So hard to be a Panther alumni. And I remember going to Club Z, which was led by the Omega Psi Phi Q Dogs of Zeta chapter at Virginia Union University, Club Z. It's in downtown Richmond, Virginia. And Biz was a regular spinner in that joint. And we knew, those of us who was from up top, if Biz was going to be there, you had to be there because it was rare. And there's no shade to Virginia. Love Virginia. I'm here. Ain't going nowhere. I've been here 20, almost 30 years. Going nowhere. But y'all didn't spin like we spin up top in 1993 and 1994. You just didn't. So if we knew that Biz was going to be at Club Z, we made sure that we was at Club Z. Biz, 1993-94. Fast forward about 10, 12 years later, Celebrity Fit Club is where a lot of us got to understand Biz in a whole different way. It's when we first learned of his medical challenges, and we saw him on the show trying to lose weight. You know, that's what Celebrity Fit Club was all about. It was a reality TV show, but we got to know Biz. At least I got to know Biz differently than I had previously known Biz. I knew him as the hip hop dude that I liked. Then I knew him as the DJ that I liked. But when I saw him on Celebrity Fit Club, he became the man that I liked. I don't have no memory of my life with Biz Markie not in it, you know? And I was a fan of him. I enjoyed him. I thought he was funny. I thought he was cool. He was somebody who I felt like I could hang out with. I only been in the room with him a few times. I never met him. I never talked to him. I never said, yo, Biz, I'm Marcus J. What to do, homie? I never got a chance to do any of that, but I was in the room where he was spinning. And if you ever been in the room where a DJ was spinning, as close as you got to that DJ is as close as I got to Biz. And everybody was affected by his infectious style. We just rocked with him. And the world is feeling a loss today. And it's going to feel a loss. And my condolences go to his family, the people that loved him, the people that knew him. You know, my condolences go to them. My condolences go to the Juice Crew. You know, I listen to Shantae, you know, every chance I get on the radio. And You know, she's going through it, and so is Kane. Like, this was their guy. Like, if something was to happen to John and Steph, how I would be suffering, that's how they suffering. So I'm sending some love and I'm sending some peace to them. I'm sending some love and I'm sending some peace to Biz. Rest in eternal peace, my brother. You are and will continue to be missed. That's the Marcus's unrelated rant that's got very little to do with here talking about tonight. It's end the show and remind everybody independence is the key to building your legacy. Say peace to the stars and the squares. I want to remind everybody that in abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley, who you hear singing in the background normally. But tonight I'm playing Biz Markie. You can hear that playing in the background. Remember, authenticity has no competition. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. We'll be back here live from the den, or the new den, Legacy and Radio next week, y'all. Peace.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Zellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.